Velina mai kako, welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps it aloha by proving that the best business is built on real relationships. I'm your host Kamaka, and our guest today is one middle name away from playing Fire Lord Ozai in the Avatar The Last Airbender live action on Netflix. But I guess I'll take what I can get. So, before we introduce him, I gotta remind you about this week's giveaway. If you didn't already know, here on the Keep It Aloha podcast, we give away $500 or more in prizes every single week, all of 2026. For this week's giveaway, we are teaming up with Audiophile and the One Piece Orchestra coming to Honolulu. To find the giveaway details and enter, all you have to do is head to our Instagram and find the post on our profile. The full details will be in the description. I'll be pulling the winners on Wednesday, August 12th, so make sure you get your entries in. For an extra 10 entries, email nicole@keepitaloha.com the secret word / phrase from today's episode, as well as your most favorite anime of all time. Good luck and enjoy this episode. All right, let's introduce our guest.
After 175 years, some people still think we're just a ranch.
And we just farm all day.
What they don't realize is we wear many hats.
And that's just how we roll. You just might see some old friends.
Or make some new ones.
So come hang with us
Drive on out to the country.
and get that epic snap.
No matter what you're looking for, come discover where legends are made.
Our guest today is an entrepreneur, mentor, and creator economy pioneer from California. As the founder and CEO of Merch Labs, he's helped generate over $20 million in revenue for creators and has been part of launching hundreds of merch shops, handling everything from design, production to online stores, shipping, fulfillment, and customer service. Long before creator became a real career path, he saw where the world was heading. Since 2010, he's helped creators, athletes, artists, businesses, and brands turn their audience into real business through merchandise, e-commerce, fulfillment, and community. And his work reaches far beyond just local brands. Merch Lab has his team has experience connecting to some of the biggest names in entertainment, including artists like Lady Gaga, Kanye West, Gwen Stefani, Pharrell, Blink-182, No Doubt, 9 Inch Nails, and more. But here in Hawaii, his impact goes beyond business. He's helped create spaces like Hawaiʻi Creators, bringing local creatives together to connect, collaborate, learn, and grow. And now, through projects like Meteor and his work around AI, publishing, and personal branding, he continues to stay ahead of where creators and entrepreneurs are going next. On a personal level, he's someone I'm really grateful for. He's been a friend, a mentor, and a business partner who's helped me think bigger, move smarter, and understand what it really takes to build something that lasts. I'm so stoked to talk stories with this Kimchi Kanaka. He is Daniel Kim. Aloha, Daniel. Welcome to the Keep It Aloha podcast. How you doing?
Hey, thank you, Kamaka. Hey, out of all those accolades, my favorite one is just Kamaka's friend.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know, honestly, as much as we've talked like over the years, like you've actually showed me a lot about what the true Aloha spirit is, and that's why I love working with you on Keep It Aloha and like even the Keep It Aloha card show and the events company. It's been really, really an enjoyable experience because it's different. A lot of times in business, you're just climbing and climbing and climbing, and you're trying to, you know, get as much as you can. And I've noticed with you, there's like a certain pace of just like this Aloha spirit, but then also, you know, we talk a lot about this concept of pono, and your middle name is Kapono, with, you know, with righteousness. And it's just been really special just hanging out with you, learning more about you, but then also learning together and how we do more impact over here in Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on some things that will change Hawaii, you know, for the better. And since meeting you, I believe it was 2020, on an app called Clubhouse. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was like this app where you can like join in group chats or
Yeah, it was
rooms.
like an online, I don't know, it was kind of like an online town hall forum where you can like, you go online, and my first experience was I put Hawaiian professional happy hour because I didn't know the difference between
Hawaiian.
yeah, like local. Yeah. Like I just I'm from California. Then you can say I'm Californian.
Yeah.
So I just made this room, and oh my gosh, I got burned. They're like, who's this Korean guy? What does the Hawaiian have? And I was like, oh, so I got educated real quick. But you know, it was really good. I think it was one of the biggest rooms we had. And that was kind of one of the moments I realized I'm like, look, utilizing technology like an online space like this and bringing people together. I mean, we had like hundreds of people in these rooms.
Yeah.
And it was a great way of exchanging ideas. And that's actually how kind of Hawaiʻi Creators was born. Was like
We met all those guys over there. Henry Ian Cusick, one of the actors,
Yeah.
he was in it one time. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's super cool. But yeah, so that's how we met. And over the years since 2021, we've been friends and you've been mentoring me kind of behind the scenes. Now you're more front facing where we're business partners for the Keep It Low Card Show. But I want to introduce you guys to Daniel because he is the guy who makes all of my merch. He's the guy who helped me get my biggest sponsorship. He's the guy who, like I said in the intro, makes me think bigger. In Hawaii, especially coming from Hilo, you're limited. We have a limited thinking because we don't see the bigger things out there. We don't see the bigger picture all the time. And Daniel comes from California where it's just like go, business. You've made millions of dollars with your businesses, and we don't necessarily have those resources here in Hawaii. We talk about brain drain. A lot of our best talent leave Hawaii, right? A lot of the best exports and resources that we have, it usually leaves Hawaii. So you're somebody and that I've met, and I do believe that you were Pono. Of course I had to suss you out for a little bit and like, what does this guy want? Is he actually trying to help us out? Is he just gonna take? And I think that's why you had a good experience over the last couple of years, is that you're not trying to take from Hawaii, you're trying to give, you're trying to help people. I mean, like me, like I said, a lot of the success that I have, I learned from people like you and Lincoln and I think probably you two are probably my biggest mentors for business and stuff, and even Jordan as well. So yeah, I'm excited for people to get to know you. I mean, this is the least amount of research I've had to do for a guest, so it's pretty easy. We're just hanging out at Aloha right before this, and now we're here. So let's start at the beginning, and how we get to know people in Hawaii. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like growing up?
Well, before I get into that question,
okay.
I just want to notate, or I want to like highlight this. So actually the way this is even here, I think, is exactly what you said, is like this mindset, right? A lot of people, they don't know if they can. So actually I helped Pastor Mike Kai from Inspired Church write his book called Blow Your Mind. And that book, the original title we were thinking was like Break the Glass Ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And before that or part of that name was like, why not me?
Mm-hmm.
And like the first kind of like real meeting we had, I remember it was over at Ala.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you want to do? I like asking that question. What do you want to do? What's your dream? Daniel in the Bible is the dreamer. And it's always been like one of the books I wrote is Dream Walking. It's like, how do you walk out your dreams in real life, right? And you told me two things. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
You said, I want to be the Joe Rogan of Hawaii, meaning I want to be the biggest podcaster in Hawaii. And then I want to write a book. And I remember thinking like, I'm like, I'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. And here we are, sitting 5 years later. I believe, without a doubt, I don't know who can argue this, but I believe you are the Joe Rogan of Hawaii for sure. Like, I believe you're the biggest local podcast in all of Hawaii.
I like to say grassroots.
Yeah. But when you think of podcasts, you think of Kamaka Diaz now, and now you have your book, and
which you helped me write.
Yeah. But I'm very proud of how far you've gone in this also art of not limiting your mindset. And there's a temptation to limit your mindset because of reality. You're like, am I capped? Am I capped? And one of the things I think you do, and I wish like anyone listening to this is like, stop capping your potential. Just because the ocean is the boundary, we live in the greatest time to be alive for entrepreneurship and growth. In the digital world, there is no boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You can start a business with someone in the Philippines, in Japan, in Kentucky, in France. It doesn't matter today. The problem is when you bring old paradigms into new things. Like one of my favorite quotes, you can't take the old you into new things.
Mm-hmm.
You got to leave the old one behind. There's no point. Mm-hmm. And the old you is old for a reason. Leave it in the past. The past is there for a reason, to leave there.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're going, you can't take that version of you in there. Just like solo leveling.
Yeah,
I like your polo. Hey, you got to.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that.
So Birdo's a brand. We kind of inspired by like
anime
and golf. I love golf. But
your hat.
Yeah. So
Tanjiro.
Demon Slayer. But the point is solo level, and also don't restrict your growth. But what you think you can or can't do, you have no idea what your potential is. And Kamaka, I'm sitting here with you. This is kind of a moment for me too, because I'm like, I remember talking with you at that coffee shop. You know what I mean? And sitting down, and I remember specifically asking you, like, and here's another question: how many people even ask that question? And then second, how many people are daring enough to say it? I want to be the Joe Rogan of Hawaii, and I want to write a book. Cool, let's go get it.
Well, I think some people don't want to share stuff because they don't want to say it and then not do it and look like a failure, or they just talk the talk, they didn't walk the walk.
Failure is part of the process.
Yeah.
Any successful human being will tell you, you're literally just working through your failures until one hits, and then you put that on Instagram.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Well, I saw something on Instagram about, this was probably before the last World Cup. He was asking some students, like, who do you think has missed the most penalty kicks in soccer? And they're like, oh, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. But who has made the most penalty kicks in soccer? Cristiano Ronaldo. It might be Messi now after the World Cup, but like that's the point of it. And even when people are like, "Oh man, Fate has hot hands. You guys get all these pulls." And I was just telling you the other day, I was like, it's the same with success and failure. Volume. You keep doing it. We have a shotgun approach. That's how we grew this podcast. Is that we didn't post 1 or 2 clips. We posted 7 clips. A clip every single day, and maybe 1 or 2 went viral. Same with the opening packs. We've opened probably at this point over 2,000 packs, and we've hit a lot of big chase cards. But that's because we've tried over 2,000 times, and maybe our hit rate is maybe 20. That's like a 10%. You know,
You miss
it's crazy.
100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. Michael Scott said that the best. Yeah.
But the fact is, I love what you say. Like, you know, honestly, I was talking about this topic earlier, like in this group I'm in. I'm like, dude, people are just it's like this shame culture of like, oh, if I fail, I look bad. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, get comfortable with failing, and like you'll succeed over time.
Yeah.
You have to embrace the suck. I tell my son that all the time. Like golf, you're not gonna be good every single time, but like if you're so consumed with the way you look and your ego, you'll never get anywhere. By the way, man, this is a masterclass already. Hey, you're getting your money's
You
worth
guys gotta
now.
pay for this usually.
But like,
This is all in my book, basically. This is all principles in the book. How can, instead of no can thinking, gamification of life, everything. So go
Absolutely.
check out my book on Amazon right now. Keep it aloha.
well, like, you know, think about this. Like, success isn't some like secret sauce that you can't access. It's just people are not. I'll be honest. I think people are lazy. They
Or
want
comfortable.
lazy and
Yeah.
like, think about it. Like, there's like a fine line with that too, right? Because it's like, yo, you know, I want this thing, but I'm not willing to pick up the book and read the things that are in there. And then the next part is go do it, right? So it's like, I use the word lazy for a reason because it's such a negative connotation. People, I'm not lazy. I also, but like,
I'm
okay.
lazy sometimes.
Well, you know, Bruno Mars is lazy sometimes.
Yeah,
You know, but intentional laziness
Yeah.
is rest, right? But the reality of it is, you know, are you actually putting forth the effort behind what you're talking about and what you're thinking? You know, like great ideas go to die with no action. You sit there, you talk about it, you think about it, and you don't move. Time is always ticking. It's like, what are you gonna do, you know, with the time that you're given? I mean, you know, my faith is a really big part of me. So I founded this brand, Aloha Amen, right? And it's like, I look at it as every day is like, it's like, give each day our daily bread. That's literally what I'm consumed with. It's like, Lord, what do you want me to do today? I have 2 hands, I have my mouth, I have my eyes, my ears. What can I do to carry out this amazing thing called this human experience, right? I have another quote I love. It's like, we're not humans going through a spiritual experience. We're spirits going through a human experience. If you think about that, you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna enjoy this human experience every single day. I'm gonna take advantage of it and like grow. But again, that's one thing I just wanted to highlight though, because I feel like you have completely embraced the human experience. And you said, how can? How do I do that? Not if can. What was the other one? You said
No can.
No can. It's like no. How can? How can changes and shifts it to
Yeah.
like, I want that. How do I get there? And that, I said, there's 2 major things to success. I love this. One of my mentors, he said there was 3. I forgot the third one. But the 2, he says, 1, show up.
Yep. Half of life is just showing up.
People don't show up, you don't get the opportunity. And the second one, don't quit. People quit, don't quit. I mean, I literally have lived by these principles like my entire career. and it works over and over and over and over. Like, show up. Okay, I showed up.
Yeah.
And I didn't quit.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat somebody that don't quit.
Yeah. What's the difference between successful people and people who aren't successful? The successful people just didn't quit. They just
Exactly.
kept going.
And they had good ideas.
Yeah.
Hey.
But maybe the good idea was like their 10th idea.
Yeah.
That hit, right?
Yeah.
So
And the other thing is, there's a lot of good books out there. This is one thing, like even mentors. Like I got tons of mentors because I read a lot of books. I read, Power of Habit. The One Thing. These are some of my favorite books, like Lean Startup, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I mean, all these authors are like my mentors. The Compound Effect. I actually got to work with Darren Hardy like directly, and you realize the wealth of knowledge and wisdom is out there if you're looking for it. But guess what? A lot of people that are comfortable, they like being comfortable in their little box. It's like, okay, well, you're just not gonna grow. You know what I mean? You know what? Like you've seen those fish, right? So you put a little fish in a small tank, it'll grow to the size of the tank. You take a fish and you move it into a larger tank. It's more uncomfortable, but a lot of times they grow to the size of their tank. It's like you want to grow, change your tank, and a lot of times this is the tank. The tank is between the ears. Stop limiting your potential by like what your eyes see, what your friends tell you. It's like, nah, no need. You know what I mean? I'm gonna believe at the highest level. And that's why, honestly, one of my benefits of my faith is like, I believe I'm directly connected with my Father in heaven, and that's it. So I don't have to prove nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that is the biggest tank you can have, is almost like, it's like solo leveling. Like, I can't die. I already died. Like, it is what it is. I'm like, part of my story is that too. Like, I felt like I died. Like, I felt like I was like, and everything just changed. I was like, oh, I know what that kind of feels like. Okay, now I'm on bonus time. You know what I mean? Now, like, everything is bonus. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a segue on that. We might do that a million times today.
No worries. Yeah. I mean, this is good. This is all good stuff.
Yeah.
And you are probably one of the most credible people that should be sharing these pieces of advice with us. But for our guests, you're a random Asian guy. Kimchi Kanaka is what I say. I think we made the Tanaka Maoli and the Kimchi Kanaka shirts. So I just wanted to drop that in there. But I kind of want people to know about your life story and how you got where you are today, because you have done some pretty impressive things and worked with some pretty big name people. So where are you from?
Where I'm from.
Where you grad?
Okay.
And we'll see how local you are if you answer this correctly. And what was it like growing up?
All right. So where I'm from Irvine, California. I was there before there were Asians. So I actually experienced like a decent amount of racism, which I'm like super envious of my son. And even being here is like that's why I love coming to Hawaii. I would go back and forth, and my wife has family here too. So when I first started dating her, like, I don't want to give away our age. We just celebrated our 18th anniversary, right?
Congrats,
so, Thank you. So it's like, we've been going. I proposed to her at Cockroach Bay, like
Cockroach
Makapu'u.
Cove.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's where I proposed to her. But growing up in Irvine, now there's a lot of Asians, but like I was like it was like me, Yoshi, and Masahiro were the 3 only Asians in our at my elementary school, right? So I was kind of used to being like, like the token Asian, right? Here I'm like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of us that look and they speak English, right? Like perfect English.
The minority is the majority over here.
Right. So I grew up in Irvine, in Orange County, and Irvine is like kind of now like one of the meccas of Asian, like everything, right? Food and people, like a lot, even like Asian, like K-pop stars that live in Irvine. It feels a little like Hawaii in Irvine now, but when I grew up there, it was like orange groves. There was like not much going on. Probably kind of how people felt like about Kapolei, 10 years ago or something, right? Oh, exactly. And that's why I like Kapolei, because I'm like, oh, it's like Irvine. The Costco's right there. Like everything's so convenient. So that's where I grew up. Funny thing is, it's like where you grad, like I immediately think like, oh, college. But I'm learning that like I've been here a little bit now. I've been here for a bit now. So, I graduated from Woodbridge High School.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You didn't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Yeah. So I went to Woodbridge High, and did you experience?
What was it growing up? Yeah, you're already sharing it.
Well, like again, like it wasn't. I would say that again, I was not the majority. So I was on the baseball team. I love sports. I felt like honestly in my head, this is going back to mindset. I wish. I mean, no, I don't wish because I'm happy with where I'm at now. But like I always said, like I don't know why I allowed this thought to come in that I couldn't be a baseball player.
Well, you've never seen it. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know about this?
No, just represent. It's the same with us. It's like until you see somebody do it, you're not thinking like, oh, I can do it. Unless you're that one trailblazer. It's like, okay, nobody's done it. Well, I'll be the first one to do it.
So, to your point, this is actually a big thing about Hawaii for me. Right? Is when I was young, I was a baseball player. But again, there was no real baseball players back then, right? And I was pretty good. I was a really good pitcher. I was an all-star team, travel, all these things. But I was short. And all my white friends, they grew to like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot tall, and I stayed at like 5'5". So my freshman year, I was like, I saw my non-Asian friends growing, and then I stayed at 5'5", and like, I think, a coach just see size, but I was like, I felt like I was way more talented. I didn't know I'd grow this size. Like honestly, I'm like 5'10" now, and I'm like, I filled out. I wasn't like that, right? So I remember getting really discouraged when I wouldn't get playtime. Now, my junior, senior year, I started getting bigger. I'm like, dang, I should have kept going because I would have been stronger. But to your point, like I always say, Channel Park wasn't around back then. Like if Channel Park was there, I would, because my parents, it's hard too because parents are always telling you like, they're like, yeah, okay.
You be doctor.
Yeah. Like, doctor. My parents were very supportive of me. They were honestly like really unconventional parents. But being a baseball player, if you're not seeing a Korean as a baseball player, like, yeah, right. Like my parents are practical. They're smart. They'd be like, oh, okay, you can be a baseball. Honestly, I wish I like stopped. I didn't hear, like, I wish I believed it. Cause like, honestly, like knowing how my grit is and my brain and how I do things, I think I could have gone really far. Really, I really do. I'm like, man. And if I had known I was going to get this size, I would have been like, yeah, I would have totally taken it way more serious. But I ended up quitting. Right? I went against my principles, right? Like, hey, half of it's showing up, half of it's don't quit. Why quit? Like that like was gone. So one of the things I talk about a lot actually is, have you heard of Roger Bannister? So there was this idea of the 4-minute mile. And I wish every listener here in Hawaii, if you're listening, I really hope that you take this to heart. No pun intended, because you heard about but they thought that if you ran, back in the day, they felt like if you ran the mile faster than 4 minutes, your heart would explode. So that was the general understanding. So no one's going to run it. Like it's subconsciously, you're like, I don't want to die, until Roger Bannister did it. Then all of a sudden, after Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, the next person broke it. The next person broke it. The next person broke it. So I look at Hawaii, I'm like, we're one unicorn away from a second unicorn. Unicorn meaning $1 billion business. And why not Hawaii? It's like we're right here, right between Japan, Silicon Valley. And by the way, everyone's here. Like, dude, honestly, my wife and I have a running joke. It's like, everyone's here trying to meet up with me all the time. Hey, I'm in Hawaii. I'm like, I know you never call me when I'm in California living there. But I get it. Like, you're in paradise, right? But you got to think, like, we have one of the most tourist-driven, like, economies in the world. Everyone comes here. It attracts, one of the hardest things in business is attracting talent. It's not just a good idea. Like, if you look at all the big companies, they're not like, oh yeah, what's your idea? What's your idea? Like, no, what talent can you attract? That's why all these big companies like Tesla and like OpenAI or they're all like trying to recruit the right teams. I don't think it'd be really hard to recruit people to at least visit Hawaii or want to come to Hawaii. I mean, that's one of my advantages. Like, I know everybody wants to come here.
Yeah.
So to me, the resources is not a thing, especially in 2026. And like, hopefully we can get into this too, Kamaka, but AI, I know there's a lot of different takes on AI, but for me as a technologist and an investor, it is the greatest time to be an entrepreneur. They said this is, I think it actually happened. They said there was the first time there was a one-man unicorn. One-man unicorn meaning like a single entrepreneur that built $1 billion business. That's insane. When you think of a unicorn, you think of hundreds, if not thousands of employees. Well, with AI and agentic like framework, agentic systems and stuff, we can get into that later. But like the whole thing is you can scale yourself for the first time. And I want to encourage every listener, like, stop thinking limited mindset. Do what Kamaka did.
Buy Pokemon cards?
Hey,
sorry.
How about this? No, even that, dude. Like, we built like a Pokemon, like a TCG events business, because what we didn't say is like, oh, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, you do one thing, and then you grow your confidence, and you're like, you can do the next thing. And like, once you do hard things, then doing hard things isn't as hard, you know? So I did the Peace Corps. Then I was like, okay, well, paying off $50,000, that's not going to be as hard as what I just did. Paid off $50,000 in 1 year. Like, starting a business, that's not going to be as hard as that. So once you just keep doing these things, you're like, I could do anything.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about any of that. But, all right, so you graduated high school, and then what did you do after?
So this is kind of funny. So like, I fell in love with the artist Eminem, right? And I was like, there was just something about the way he.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that on the podcast. I was trying to put my watch on silent mode, but I pressed the Find My iPhone by accident.
I thought it was.
I thought that's what the silent thing, because my watch is going off, because I thought I put it on silent mode.
No worries. I'm
just gonna put it on airplane mode. Sorry, people, if you're calling me at 4:19 on this Wednesday, this is why I didn't answer your phone call.
I thought it was like a game show. Like you're gonna
You
be
got
like,
something.
Wait, we gotta get a live question coming in.
That would be cool.
No, so Eminem was one of my favorite artists because I felt like I was like, wow, he had a really special ability to storytell in this art form of rap music, and I really got into hip hop. So when I was in college, well, you said like right after high school.
Yeah. So you went to college.
I went to college. I went to Cal State Fullerton. It's funny. I ended up starting like a Korean. Actually, this was probably my first venture. I started this Korean club, and it was like and we ended up becoming like one of the, if not the biggest organization at our school. And I remember we just I don't know what it was like. Actually, like, this is why there's another quote: you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And it's like, when you build the right teams, really special things could happen. And I had a group of friends, and like my friend John Brock, shout out John, he had an events business. And I remember he was throwing these events like in high school, and I'd hear about him, and he had like all these people show up and everything. And he ended up becoming like my vice president of this club. And I remember, see, this is what, like, slight tweaks lead to great peaks. I have a bunch of these. We're gonna do it. But it's like sometimes not these huge adjustments. And I remember in college, so I was doing these events, and then I remember, like, it was funny. I like, there was like some strategy. Like I know all the guys want these girls, and the girls want to meet the guys. So I remember I was like, we had some girls, and then we're like, oh, have the girls recruit the guys, and it just was like, our club just got really big, really fast, interest wise. And then I remember we did this event, and we were gonna charge for it. And my friend John, he was like, why don't we just put everybody on the guest list, Daniel? Just give it for free. Like, it'd just be epic. And I remember we did that, and then all of us, dude, we had so many people show up to that party, and it was like an epic party. And honestly, that might have been one of the first lessons I had of, like, thinking bigger. Like, stop thinking so small. Like, I want to make $400 for the club. Instead, why don't you just comp everybody and get 1,000 people to show up? Right? It's like, it's almost better to like lose a little to gain a lot, right? And I remember that kind of popped off, and then I don't know, we just had a really cool like run at Cal State Fullerton, so that was kind of my thing. And then the transition was that I remember I was like, man, I kind of want to work in the music space, because I remember feeling back then, I was like, I want to make impact. That was just something like on my heart. And I remember thinking like, man, these pastors, they do a sermon in an hour. Like, music is like a sermon in 3 minutes, and you repeat the chorus over and over and over again. And I was obsessed with John Lennon and Imagine, because I thought it was such a transformative song, and it was like such a hopeful song. And then there's Eminem, obviously. Like, but
well, he has some hopeful songs.
Yeah, but I just fell in love with the power of music, and I fell in love with it. So I remember being like, dude, I was just like, I want to get an internship at Interscope Records. And back then it was like a big thing. I remember like Jurassic 5, like those commercials, I don't know if they had, but it's like, a couch, $100, you know, like a drink, $5, an internship at Interscope, priceless. Right? No, that was one of the
That's
ads, and I somehow got an internship at Interscope Records, and this is another thing, guys, like, or you and guys, like, I firmly believe this: where attention goes, energy flows. If you have your attention scattered on like 20 different things, you're doing nothing. You're leaking all over the place. But like, you know, kind of like a magnifying glass, you know, you shine a light, but you focus the magnifying glass on one singular point, and you obsess about it. Why wouldn't life reward that, right? I mean, I do think that life kind of follows nature. Like, there are formulas that exist all around us, you know what I mean? But it's just like, that's one of the formulas that I feel that works, is like, why are you not gonna reward the obsessed one? I believe, I don't want to turn this into like a sermon, but I believe God's like scanning the earth for like the great ones. And when I think of great ones, I think of obsessed, right? So, you know, that was, you know, I ended up thinking about, oh, you know, I'd like to be at the record label. And then somehow, like, because I talked about it, and then I got a phone call from what ended up being my mentor at the time. And, you know, I was with someone else. He's like, hey, I heard you want to get an internship at Interscope. I was like, yeah. And then I remember he's like, what's up? I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm chilling. He goes, chilling? And I was like, yeah, it's cold outside. And he laughed. He goes, I like that. It was just like a little witty banter.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, why don't you come in next week for an internship or to interview? And then the rest is history. I remember I got an internship like as I was finishing college. I was at Interscope Records. It was like one of the fastest growing record labels. This is like right when, like before 50 Cent, and like right when Eminem was going. I was interning for a while, and then I got my first opportunity. Dude, everyone, oh, by the way, everyone else I know that successful, you pay your dues too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was in the mailroom. I remember I got really frustrated because I was like, I'm like college grad. I feel like I'm smarter than a lot of, like in my head, I was like, yo, give me an opportunity. And I remember I had a one-on-one with my, actually, it was kind of embarrassing. Like my mentor was kind of like, it was kind of like a weird culture there. It was like kind of like pushy and like kind of like messing around a lot of times, like clowning around, you know what I mean? But like, I remember I came in with my resume because I wanted a job and I had dressed up, and he like totally clowned me. He's like, hey, and he got everyone to come in because I was the intern at the time, and he goes, Daniel wants a job. And then he goes around the whole room. He goes, how did you start? How did you start? How did you start? And they all said like, oh, I was like an intern, like start off in the mailroom, And he had everyone leave. And dude, it was so embarrassing. He like took my resume. Oh, I love this. And he posted the resume because they were joking around with me a lot, right? And then I remember they left, and he goes, hey, Daniel, you're not going to work here. Better, I'm going to help you start a company. Because, you know, I think he was watching me. By the way, people that are successful are watching all the time, right? They're looking for talent all the time. And I remember because I was showing up and I was working hard. He's the one that told me, show up, don't quit. And because I remember being really frustrated because I wasn't making money at the time. I was like, dude, I'm driving 2 hours interning every single day, like going to Santa Monica and back to Irvine. I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, dude, I felt hopeless. But I remember he was like, I'm going to help you start a business. And he seed funded me. He gave me like $100 to start things. Ended up doing my first website. I remember I did some stuff with Johnny Lang, who was this artist back then. And then I did Sheryl Crow, and then Smash Mouth. And then I met Marilyn Manson. I did a project with him. And then just kind of like probably how you feel about your podcast. Like, how many episodes are you in now?
This is probably, what am I at now? 240?
Exactly. You don't even know.
240?
But you're 240 episodes from the first.
Yeah.
But you have to start. And the thing is, you kind of almost have to not complain. And even like we're here at 240, but you started at 1. And like that's the most important thing, is to start and not to give up. But back then, like, so I ended up getting my first few gigs, and then it steamrolled, and I remember my first $10,000 check, and I was like, I made it. It was like for a Singular Wireless commercial, and it was so cool because it was like I didn't do any of the work. I was basically learning the art of arbitrage, like taking, like I understood how to connect, so I had resources to get the project, and then I had the person to do the project, and then I just kind of like, it was a kind of middleman, but I structured the deal. I say deal makers are king makers. right? So if you understand the art of the deal, oh, that's a powerful art form is deal making, because you have to understand how to communicate and get things done, right? So I got that project, and then dude, just one project led to another. Opportunities kept opening up, and then I kept my digital business. And then fast forward, like I remember around 2009, 2010, I did some stuff with influencers. At the time, there was no such thing. It was like maybe 2008.
Yeah, you worked with a lot of the early Asian YouTubers. Yeah.
But it wasn't a thing back then. I just was meeting them because I was trying to do things in music still. And then
Didn't you do something with iTunes, like the first iTunes song?
oh, yeah. So I actually encoded the first like 20, 30 tracks on iTunes. Because back then, again, at Interscope, I became the tech Asian guy. I was in the new media division.
They're looking at all the guys that are white person. That guy looks Asian. He's probably smart. You do the coding.
Well, see, so,
math, go.
Yeah. So there's I'm butchering it, but there's a saying like where like opportunity meets like hard work or something.
Luck
like,
is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes, right. So because I was doing music and I was trying to prove myself in this division, and I was like helping out with certain things. I remember like they had me encoding all this stuff, and then I was actually working at an Apple reseller at the time. It was called Club Mac, and because I knew Macs and stuff like that, I don't know like whatever happened, but like I remember sending this like CD or DVD of a bunch of MP3s and sending it off to Apple. I was like, why is this going to Cupertino? It's kind of weird. And then I remember sending it off like after encoding him and putting it up, and like it was like Gwen Stefani, Sheryl Crow, and like Eminem or something like that. And I sent it off, and then the week after it was like iTunes launched, and I was like, whoa! I didn't know that was weird, like sending that off. But I do remember even like Steve Jobs. I would hear helicopters like come over to Interscope. Right? Interscope was like crazy. Like I mean, they started Beats by Dre. I mean, it's just even though it was a music company, it evolved into like it was like the hotbed of innovation and culture, and I got to be around that. It's just, and it was kind of cool. Like my division was kind of the nerds, like the web guys, but everything turned into web after iTunes. Everything was online, right? So we started making these online players, websites, digital campaigns. But before that, it wasn't really a digital campaign. It was like billboards. And honestly, now I'm reflecting on it. Maybe that's why I'm so obsessed with like being at this intersection.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, like culture and tech.
I was like, it makes so much sense.
So because I got to see it, my proximity, I was like around it, and maybe subconsciously I was observing all these things. But
well, you've been an early adopter in a lot of things, and that's why you've been successful. Same with the podcast. I was an early adopter in Hawaii. That's why we're a little bit ahead of other people.
Yeah, I think that first mover advantage is great, and it gives you kind of like a head start. But again, I'm gonna go back to that word, being comfortable. You might lose your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to continue to innovate and work hard. And I think I get that from my parents too. I think like my dad didn't come from much. My mom went through a lot of struggle. Like I think I'm just from that like immigrant like mentality of like, my parents had donut shops, but they also had like full-time jobs, and I'm just watching them work hard. So like hard work is just part of my nature, but then mix hard work with like being attentive to changes and not being fearful of changes. Oof, that's an amazing recipe for explosive success. And I've had a couple. Like one of my biggest claims, one of my biggest successes was I signed these kids. These kids are called I don't want to name drop all these things, but
name drop them.
Well, there was these Sturniolo triplets, and there were these triplets, and we signed them when they had 250,000 followers. And by the time we finished like doing all their merchandise, we launched the campaign, and we did $1 million in an hour.
Wow.
And I was like, and I remember I didn't want to turn the Shopify notifications on because I just wanted, and my phone was just like, ding, 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 ding. And then I was like, geez, this influencer like market is, I already knew because we were making good money before that, but it's just to show like almost like nobody really knows what might happen. We're kind of living in this world now where in the past you had TV, radio, movies where you would like plan it. Like even the media executives today, they'll even say like, we don't know what's gonna hit. It's almost like at the pace of innovation that's happening right now, like it's just dizzying. So that's why I'm like, yo, just try it. You just don't know what's gonna happen. Like, like the fear algorithm, there's 0 point in having that. You know, being reserved and being smart and calculated, absolutely. Like, don't be like bonsai crazy on everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, you know, I was just saying this earlier, but it's like, you know, Gary Vee talks about this. He's like, you know, your 20s and 30s are like an amazing time to risk. Your risk tolerance goes lower as you get older. Like when you have more responsibilities and you have bills and you have mortgage and you have kids, it's harder to be risky. So it's like if you play those odds, it makes all the sense in the world to risk from 18 to 25. By the way, prefrontal cortex isn't even fully developed.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. You know
That's
what I'm
why
saying?
I don't blame people when they're making mistakes unless they're after they're 25 years old.
But to your point, though, one of the things I was very, very blessed to have, though, was along my journey of the fearless moves, I had great mentors. And like, that's why I'm very, you know, I jump at the opportunity to like mentor if I can, because I'm just paying it forward. Is like, and one mentor I had, he's like, Daniel, like, the more I give, the more I get. These are real, like, look, the way energy works, right? There's real, that's why I can't stand people that are just consumers and energy suckers. It's like, dude, it's like, it's not meant for you to hoard all your blessings. There's the great exchange, like give and take and give.
That's aloha. Amen.
Amen and amen. Yeah.
So you're at Interscope, you worked with a lot, you did like Lady Gaga's website, Kanye's website, all those things.
I did web campaigns for Kanye.
Web campaigns.
Yeah, like I did these online digital campaigns, like a ton, like AFI, Snow Patrol, Keen. Like, dude, I did like the whole roster for like years, it was just kind of cool. It was like, oh, the Korean intern kid. But, you know, to my mentor's part, he's like, I'm going to help you start a business. And I just ran the table.
Yeah. And then you got into the influencer space, the Asian influencer space really early, like as things were popping off YouTube. You know, we had Joe Jitsukawa on the podcast. Yeah. You helped his partner do Barbell Brigade. You worked with Far East Movement. You worked with Dante Bosco, who's the Micah every time. Guys, can somebody comment below? How do I stop my brother?
He's trying to send in questions for me.
I'm literally.
What's the question for me?
I'm on
Kamako?
airplane mode, do not disturb, and somehow his phone call still comes through. Yeah. I don't understand.
Hey, shout out, Micah. Hey, you get the one input.
I need to get a mark. This is for real. I really need to do this. Yeah. I'm gonna get a marker. You know, like when you tally like how many times you won a game. Yeah. I'm gonna tally how many times my brother calls me while I'm podcasting.
Hold on. So here's one thought. So Kamaka, what you could do is, can I give you some mentorship?
Yeah, right there. Here, real life.
There's this thing you could go like this, take it off.
I use it to see the time though, and my phone's charging. That's why I have this.
Yeah.
But yeah, gosh, I'm doing a marker for real. I'm gonna have. So when people hear that, when they're listening or watching, be like, oh, it's probably Micah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like the thing on Keep It All podcast. If you hear that sound, oh, Micah's calling.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that should be a segment.
Yeah,
Micah's calling.
Question.
Where are you? Yeah.
I should start answering his calls and see what he says. But yeah. Anyways, you worked with Dante Bosco, the American Dragon, the voice of Zuko, Rufio.
It was an interesting like transition because, you know, the beginning of Merch Labs.
Jabberwocky. Sorry, I had to throw out the Jabberwockies.
Well,
I love the Jabberwockies.
I work with
Ben.
Yeah. That was formerly Jabberwockies and then Kinjas. But like, actually the Far East Movement was different too. Like I actually was interning with them at Interscope and there was some crossover later, but like, you know, I just want to make sure facts. Make sure that I'm correct on everything. But yeah, we were probably we call ourselves the originals of influencer merchandising, right? Because there was no such thing back then. And so what happened was I was kind of working with some influencers, and then I think at an event I saw like Bart and Joe from Just Kidding Films, and I was just like really like proud of like Asians, because it's not like in Hawaii, right? Like everyone's Hawaii here. Everyone's like there's a ton of Asians.
Yeah, right? Everybody's some sort of Asian here.
I mean, or it's just it's like mixed salad or whatever. I mean, but jampong. Like, I don't know if like a mixture of everything, right?
Yeah, mixed plates.
Mixed plate, right? But like in California is like, you know, seeing Asians do things in entertainment was like awesome. And my heart was like, I had done pretty well already with my first business. So my Instagram handle is Deep Fried Pro. For my first business, it's called Deep Fried Productions. And I'd been doing all this work, and I was like, look, I want to support Asian like entertainers, or like there was no such thing as influencers back then. But I was like, oh, they're doing this thing on YouTube. Like the YouTube thing is cool, right? Like I thought it was interesting. I'm like, they could bypass the record labels, they could bypass the management companies and the agents, and then just do their own, like direct to consumer. That's insane. That's great. And they're getting all these followers and stuff, right? So like even here, like Ryan Higa from Hawaii, right? The perfect example of breaking outside of the boundaries of the ocean and doing things digitally, right? But I remember I met them, and then we kind of became friends. And then I remember being like, you know, I think I said the same thing, like, what do you guys want to do? And they were like, we'd love to make a gym. And I remember them talking about Barbell Brigade, and I was trying to get them investors. I was like, oh, you know, I was working with MMA Elite at the time. They did a lot of stuff with like BJ Penn and for Fabricio Verdum and a bunch of other fighters, right? And I introduced them, and I was like, look, you know, they're gonna be the next big thing. Trust me, this YouTube stuff. I just saw like viral stuff happening, and I just thought it was really interesting, like going from content directly to audience, not having to go through any middleman of agent or production or anything like that. Like literally they did other, and they were one of the best. They treated it like a real business. And I remember they were like, yeah, you know, we need, I was like, how much you need? Like, oh, we need maybe like $10,000 or something like that. I was like, screw it, let's just do it ourselves. You know, and I had done some merchandising back then, and I was like, how about this? I'll design some stuff, and then you know, we ended up partnering on like early in that business. And then, so we created Barbell Brigade, right? And I did all the production and the design. And then like, I remember the first month we hit $10,000. They already had their own merch, but like this was like a brand. And it was a vibe. It was like nothing like what they were doing. They were doing comedy, but like Bart was really into like fitness. So what that ended, it was like 10,000, the next month, 10,000, the next month, 10,000. It was like, oh my gosh. It was like, this is like a real thing. But again, that's like all businesses. But it was all them though, right? Like they were the ones that already had the channel. Like you in this podcast, right? Like you had the channel with Keep It Aloha podcast. We decided, like, well, hey, why don't we do a community event? And I was like, hey, why don't we do something with Pokemon? Boom, put those two together, and now we have Keep It Aloha car show, and that worked, right? Like 5,000 people show up. So it's not me, but when you have resources and good energy mixed with great ideas, usually that's, you know, was it fire and oil right there, right? So that venture kind of worked, and then that worked out a little bit. So I was like kind of doing things, and I started doing things on demand. So I ended up buying these machines that could print on demand. And I was like, innovation of technology. I was like, ooh, I could like design things without even printing it and having, like, they had this thing called dead stock. It's like when you can't sell things, it's just dead stock. It's the worst thing in merchandising because it just sits there. That's why people do blowout sales or like, you know, sample, like you don't want to sit on stock. But I was like, oh, I could just buy like blanks and just have a certain amount of product, put it online. By the way, free advice. You know what I mean? Like, but like, just put it online, no risk. And that was my pitch. I said, no risk turnkey merch solution. And that's how I came out with that. And then
Merch Labs.
Merch Labs began. I remember I recruited this one guy, PK, shout out PK. He came on board. It was actually like the first name was gonna be Merch on Demand, but like Merch Labs was way cooler. You know what I mean? And then I remember we signed CT Fletcher, and he cranked it. And I remember he was like so stoked because he had worked at the post office the year before, and he calls me like emotional like later. He's like, Daniel, this is the most I've ever seen in a year, because I gave him a 1099. It was 6-figure 1099, and he's like, this is incredible, right? And I just realized, I was like, wow, you know, I didn't realize it at the time, but we were kind of building the first like entrepreneurial ventures for a lot of these influencers, because influencers were getting paid on ads, but I was helping them build their brands. And then we did like, I did some stuff with Bradley Martin, like all the fitness guys, Callan Von Moger, Steve Cook, like we did everything. Like it was nuts. Like the fitness space, we got everybody in the fitness space for like years. And then, yeah, just like one thing led to another. Like today, probably the biggest ones we work with now is like
Alex
Pereira.
UFC championship. Shama.
Should have been 3
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah.
But Shama, hey, Shama no Shama. You know, but this, and then Kiki Palmer, Tiffany Haddish. I mean, honestly, I'm stoked about Demon Slayer,
Solo
Solo
Leveling.
Leveling, Gintama. I'm working on some stuff with Viz Media right now, so we just signed. But hopefully, we're gonna be doing things with Naruto, and because I don't like counting my chicken before they hatch, right? Like there is one of the biggest ones in TCG. Like we're in talks and trying to get
Stay
things done.
tuned. Subscribe to see the
Yeah,
updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's super cool what you've done. And it's really inspiring for me as a small town Hilo boy to learn and be around you and see you operate. And now that we're working as like business partners, like we would work together, you'd help me. And, you know, maybe I teach you local culture or whatever it is, you know. But now working together as official business partners, I get to be in these meetings with you and be around these high level people. And like, I mean, you're around people, you're having meetings and talking with people who are like, you know, I don't want to name drop, but I don't know if I can. So like this really high up people in K-pop and anime and you know, pop culture. Like you're talking to these people and you have them on FaceTime and it's funny because you're friends with a lot of the Asian influencers, YouTubers that I watched growing up. You know, Joe and like you know Ben from Jabberwockies and like I know Far East Movement. It's a lot of the other ones that we just be name dropping too much, but and Dante Bosco. I remember, and Dante Bosco, hopefully we'll get him on the podcast one day. Like I remember following him on Tumblr back in the days, and I'll bring this up whenever he's on the podcast.
You brought a Tumblr, bro.
Like because he would do poetry. I knew him.
Right.
I knew him from poetry.
Right.
And I would message him, and he's like, I think I still have a screenshot of me like tweeting or doing a message with him. So whenever I see him, I'm gonna show him this. But yeah, it's so cool. I was like, dang, this guy knows like all my Asian heroes, you know. So I thought it was super cool, and I'm glad that we get to work together. And just going into like the Hawaii section, like how you got to Hawaii, and like you've helped people like me, Angela Lee, Chad Owens, a lot of past podcast guests, Tumua. You know, like you are truly somebody who is like impacting Hawaii and the entrepreneurs of Hawaii. You started Hawaii Creators, you know, 808 Virals in there. So a lot of the like micro influencers, bigger influencers, all of those people are in that group because of what you started with Danny and Darren and Keli'i, all of them. But it's cool. I think, you know, you do need a little praise. And a lot of times we're like, oh, the California guy, how is coming to Hawaii? But there are the good ones. And I think you're one of the good ones. I know you are one of the good ones.
I appreciate that, bro. I've been trying to shed my California-ness out.
Yeah.
No,
but you had to learn the hard way.
Yeah,
You made mistakes and you've looked stupid at times, but you embraced it all.
Well,
yeah.
It's like I said, it's part of my like algorithm of saying like, you know, take the shots. Like, you know, I put myself out there. I knew I was gonna make mistakes, but at the same time, I'm like, what you see today is not what you're gonna see in 5 years. Mm-hmm. And understanding that, you're like, most people are like in high school and stuff, right? You're like my son's 16, and it's like he's going through this phase. And I've done a lot of research on this in that this pubescent period of life. It's like because I gotta understand what's going on with my son. You're so conscious of what everyone else thinks, and the problem about that, you're not able to like, you know, it's a waste of energy because you're like, what do they think? Instead of like solo leveling, like honestly, it's one of my Demon Slayer. Here's what's crazy. Demon Slayer is my #1 favorite anime. Solo Leveling is #2. And how the heck am I working on both? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what reality did I crack? Like, even that story is crazy. Like, I didn't even have just a side one. Like, I'm allowed to tell stories on a podcast, right?
Yeah, it's your episode. Do whatever you want.
So I wrote this book, Dreamwalking. It's on Amazon. And
oh, sorry, you can't promote other stuff. No, I'm just joking.
But like, you know, I remember I wanted the Demon Slayer license. I'm like, I wonder if I can get this, and I didn't have a way. I was like, and I'm friends. Hey, shout out Simon.
Simon the Ghost.
Simon the Ghost. He doesn't have no social and stuff, but very high. He does amazing things in the anime space, and he's taught me a lot. But I remember we had, and he lives here, right? So we got to meet up and talk and all these things. And you know, I remember being like, hey, you know, there's this thing called anime. Is it Anime Japan, right? Yeah, Anime Japan. And I was like, are you gonna go? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just go. I just kind of felt like a little nudge like I call it divine nudge, like a little bit, like
You felt it in your na'au.
yeah, my nuts, no, my na'au, yeah, my na'au. But it's like, I remember thinking like, we should, maybe go to Japan. And I remember I booked a ticket without any meetings, bro. This is what's crazy. I booked a ticket with no meetings, and I remember thinking like, kind of, have you seen it, like a Field of Dreams? Like if you build it, they will come.
I've heard
It's
of that.
kind of like that. It's kind of weird, right? And I remember I booked the ticket. Like, I had everything ready. Like I could do these deals. I was the right character. I had the right resources, all these things. I just didn't have the deal. And I remember booking the ticket, and then now my attention was on there, right? Energy. Now I was like hitting things up, and then all of a sudden I got 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 5 meetings. And then I remember like somehow I had met someone a while ago at Aniplex very briefly, and like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna happen. And then I was like, I'm gonna be in Japan. And then I got in contact with someone else that reintroduced us, and then I got a meeting with Aniplex in Japan. And I remember being like, this is happening. And then I don't give all my secret sauce, but there was a way I got the deal with Demon Slayer, and I was like, wow, I cannot believe this happened. Like, no, like genuinely, like it was like a dream. Like I was like, and I was jet lagged in Japan too. So I was like, is this real or what? And I just was like, I flew to Japan on a divine nudge. I got a voice in my no, right? Went to Japan, didn't have a meeting, then got the meeting, then got the deal, came back, and I was like, I did it. I was like, that was one of the coolest deals.
Oh, it's totally. I mean, to work with any anime, and not only just an anime, one of the top animes is. It's one of my flexes. Like, oh yeah, my friend, you know anime. You like anime? Oh, you know Demon Slayer? Oh yeah. Here, look at this shirt. Look at this hat. It feels cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the guy who does it. I just know the guy. It's like saying like, oh yeah, my friend is LeBron James.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
But it's like, to that point, it's like, you never, if you don't put your intention on anything. I call it leaking. You're just like leaking all the time. I hate that. Like leaking to me is like one of the worst things you could do. Is like stop leaking.
Mm-hmm.
Patch up your ideas, patch up your thoughts, patch up your mouth. Some people just leak, right? It's like patch up your
The
mouth.
people that talk too much.
Yeah, it's okay to talk.
Not me. I never. I would never.
This podcast.
I would
just
never
talking.
talk too much.
No, but like talk, but then write it down. Create a plan, right? Like. Put intention on it, right? And then all of a sudden, like it starts to like steamroll, and you're sitting here on your 240th episode or whatever this is. It is like, it's not luck.
Yeah.
You put intention on that. But yeah, that Japan one was like super cool. And I don't know, man. Like my career has just been like that. It's just like, it just feels like tamago. Like tamago, they make it. It's just like you're just rolling layers after layers, and then it becomes like the tamago, like the egg sushi, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's life. Is like, yeah, you might just see a little like egg sushi, but no, dude, that was layers on layers on like. It's like what you see with me today. I'm layers. So like when I go into meetings, like one thing you'll know is this. It's kind of weird. It's almost like Hashira when you see Hashira. Hashira is like top level, or like I can't really say this because I don't know the full, but Hokage, right? Like it's like the top level.
Yep.
It's like, yo, dude, like like when you're a basketball player, you don't even need to see the guy shoot sometimes. You just look at their eyes, like
see how they walk, see how they hold a basketball. You can tell. Yeah.
And that's why, like, when you talk about, so actually, maybe I'll just break this on the podcast. So we've been talking about doing like a really big event.
Okay, I'm looking at you, making sure that we don't say anything that we're not supposed to, and Simon's gonna scold us.
I'll just get a little bit, but like, what I've been preaching and saying is that Hawaii should be the hub of all things Asian culture. All things Asian culture. You have San Francisco, you have Los Angeles, you got South by Southwest, right? That you got, Atlanta for certain, right? Like, why is Hawaii not the home for Asian culture, right? Mm-hmm. But more importantly, maybe like the hub for Asian type business, right? Like K-pop is not like, K-pop anymore. It's like K-pop is an industry. Mm-hmm. K-drama is an industry. K-food is an industry, right? So some of these people talk, I don't know, I'm not gonna say these, but there's conversations with, access to some of the biggest names in these respective fields, right? But like, why is there not a event or an expo that is bringing all these top people here and cultivating like an inside out type of business, not just coming here for vacation. Everybody wants to come here, but like, why are we not making this like an intention, right? So that is, I mean, I could tease that and like, that's not that big of a release, but what I'm saying is like, I believe we are sitting on something, Kamaka, you and I, even with Keep It Aloha events, where we've started with Pokemon cards, but we have plans to do things with music and arts. And, we were just with Jasper with, Worldwide Walls. We're like, hey, how do we do an event that combines TCG? And by the way, I don't look at TCG as Pokemon cards. I look at it as a cultural movement that's happening, right? Like, and it's a financial lever, right? Like it's an investment, like this book, From Cards to Capital, or Cards to Capital. The whole point is to say, how do you learn financial literacy and learn how to invest through something like a Pokemon card? Like that's my son, that's how he learned to invest. Like I was joking around, like, dude, he makes enough money from Pokemon cards. He really at 16 doesn't need his parents. He could live on his own, which is crazy to think about. In a matter of just a year learning the art of card collecting and investing, right? Like buying, selling, and trading, right? And I'm just like, well, if you know how to buy, sell, and trade Pokemon cards, you know what you're that much closer to? Buying and selling, trading stocks.
Real estate, crypto, business, venture. Like we're not that far off in Hawaii to launch multiple ventures here, right? It's just the problem is, here's another, and I want to ask you a question. When I say the word gatekeeping, like what comes to mind for you? Just
is it real?
People say it's real. I guess I've never been around the people that gatekeep, or I've never gate kept. So it's hard. It's like, surround yourself with like the people you want to be like, right? So like same with friends. Like if I don't want to be a partier and go to clubs, I don't have friends that do that. So it's like, I don't have friends that gatekeep. I don't have people in my life that don't represent me in like the way that I want to be represented. So yeah, I hear people say that a lot, gatekeeping, and maybe they do, but I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant to it. But yeah, for me, that's just not kind of in my vocabulary, and it's not something that I've ever done. I'm like, read my book. All my secrets are there.
Right.
How I got to where I am in life is literally in that, like, every step of the way.
Right.
That's what worked for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for you or anybody else, but that's what worked for me. That's how I'm here today.
Right.
And I'm just anti-gatekeeping, social club. What is it? I was trying to make a joke.
Anti-gatekeeping.
Yeah, there you go.
Anti-gatekeeping club. Right? Yeah.
That's me.
No, but you know what I'm saying? But like the phenomenon of gatekeeping though is like, I have my secret spot where I fish, right?
Yeah.
I got my secret spot where I dive. I got my or surf spot. Like I'm not gonna share it because the more I share it with people, like it gets crowded.
Well, and there's levels, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, I'll share stuff with my close inner circle.
Yeah.
And like the things that need, like if there's a good food spot that I want to support, I'll tell people, oh yeah, everybody go to Kamitoku Ramen. They have the best ramen. I love Kamitoku.
Right.
Too busy, that's a good thing for them, right?
Yeah.
If it's something like, I don't know, my neighbor makes the best musubis and he only has 100 musubis every time, I'm probably not gonna post that on social media. I'm gonna be like, okay, maybe my family and some close friends, let's get like 25 and leave the rest for 75 other people.
Yeah.
So there's levels.
Well, how about this? I think it's a natural phenomenon to feel like if you're on an island and you understand there's limited resources, if you understand that, the gatekeeping phenomenon is a natural, concept that is around resources, right? So like, let's just think about TCG for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Think about Pokemon, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just going to change it a little bit. Instead of gatekeeping, which happens, I think for me, it's more like scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset. And the reason why I don't associate with gatekeeping is that I have an abundant mindset. I never come from a scarcity mindset.
Well, let's talk about the biggest phenomenon, I think, that's hit the island
Yeah.
literally.
Let's
in, like-
get into this Pokemon and event stuff, and then we'll take a shishi break.
So, what is the biggest, the hottest spot in Hawaii right now? It starts with a T, and it's always busy in the mornings,
Oh, Target. Target.
right?
Yeah.
Like, think about this, right?
Yeah.
So, if you have the plug and you have the information of when these drops are you sharing that information?
If you're a good friend.
Right? But like,
But now there's these groups that do share the information.
kind of, right? But
Yeah.
let's say like, but do they get mad when they share it?
Well,
Like,
that,
yo, why you?
they would, because there's a limited amount.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole point I'm getting at, right, with this whole like, what does gatekeeping do? Like limited mindset, resources, right? It does kind of create this defensive posture.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't allow for an abundant mindset to happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, you know, you get these 2-hour lines at Target, like, oh my God, I was late. Oh, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get it. Like, you know how many times I wait with my son went viral because we were at he got mobbed. Like, if you check out Hawaii Collectibles, like on Instagram, you'll see one of the posts, dude, it had
Yeah,
millions
the
of views.
little Asian kid that got pushed out of the way. That's his
'cause
son.
he was 14 at the time, and I was shocked because there was all these adults, and I didn't even. He just asked me to. It was the beginning of his Pokemon collecting journey. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to take this more serious. I might sell cards online." I remember, and then we went over there and we caught the draw. We didn't even know there was a draw. We just went because we heard like Prismatic was going to drop or whatever, and Eevee is his favorite character, like of all the Pokemon. So he was so excited about this one, and it dropped, and then just everyone mobbed. But like that energy, it doesn't allow for like real innovation to happen. If you're like keeping secrets and you're not sharing information, how do you do rapid development? How do you do rapid innovation? You're constantly like holding back because you're like, oh, dude, like, you know, in Silicon Valley they do that, right? They're like, hey, you know, I'm not sharing this because like I might say something and then someone might take the idea and run with it, right? We're on an island, dude. You know what I'm saying? Hey, live Pono, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's hui up. Let's work together.
Community over competition. That's the motto.
Yeah, but what happens even like, I mean, we should talk about this though, dude. Like, honestly, there's a lot more competition even in the card show space, right? I've heard people talk about, oh, so many card shows, so many card shows. Well, the mentality should just be like, let's innovate. Let's see how we can work together, right? Let's see how we could do things in a righteous manner.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is like this hobby is exploded. But guess what, Kamaka? There gonna be guys like us that don't look at such small vision of like, it's just a card show. I'm gonna make money. I mean, dude.
I'm
we
going to
don't
make
even-
a couple $1,000, whatever.
Dude,
we don't look at it like that.
Our first show, we gave all the tables for free,
Yeah,
and then
we lost money.
trying to be like
Yeah.
like Costco, keep
Yeah.
like the hot dogs. We're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, we're gonna keep the prices at like as low as we can, right? And we're doing everything to everything we can to keep these prices low.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it stops at the car show. Like innovate and create and work together, right? It's like we're on an island. Like, why is it East Side versus West Side? Why is it Kaneohe? You know, the 4-4. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a culture we should be working together and collaborating and literally having the anti-gatekeeping like
Gatekeeping club.
club, like just like we're over it. Like it should be us versus everyone else.
Yeah.
It should be Hawaii working together despite all the differences. Like you know what brings people together?
Pokemon.
Well, there's a tsunami warning
Yeah.
from a shore of Russia, and everyone's like, yo, we're all together, right? We're all driving up the hill, like we're all helping each other out, right? It's like, why does it take a national, a statewide threat to get us to work together?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Instead of a threat, why don't we look at opportunities and be like, what could we do uniquely about Hawaii against everyone else? Like let's go for that. Like Chief of War, hey, shout out Justin Chan, you know, what up, Justin? But it's like us against everyone, right? Like, and that's a vision we can come back to. But like, I call it Wakanda,
Yeah.
Hawaii Wakanda. It's like preserving culture, high-end technology, right? Keeping the roots solid in Hawaii. That's the vision I have. I would love that. Because you know, the reality of it, nowhere I go, that's not proper English, but I don't go anywhere that is as beautiful as Hawaii. And it's not about the location and the scenery, it's the people. 100%.
So why are you here, and like what are you trying to accomplish in Hawaii?
Damn. I'll leave, Kamaka. I'm sorry.
Seriously, why are you here? Get out.
Okay, the real answer is this.
Yeah.
You know, you saw Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Is it Odysseus? I can't say his name.
Why can't I think of it?
Odysseus.
No.
Odysseus.
Ode-
Yeah, anyways, the character, right?
No. The
Odysseus.
Odysseus.
Odysseus. Oh, dude, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like, my life has kind of just been like that. It's like I kind of am sensitive to like I feel like I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people have different understandings of it. Like they'll say like whatever, like solo leveling would say like what's the system trying to tell me? I say God, right? And my family came here like not in the best situation. Like we've been going back and forth for like 18, like 25, like we've been back. I mean, this is like a second home anyways, right? But during COVID, there was some stuff that happened personally, and but the reality of it, I was just honestly, you only lose what you cling to, right? And I remember this idea of just surrender, and being like, I don't care. I feel so defeated that like if I lose my company, I lose my company. Tim Ferriss has this book called 4 Hour Work Week, and he has this concept of MRs. It's called mini retirements. Instead of taking your whole retirement at the end of your life, you take these mini ones throughout your life, because when you're old, I mean, you can't like really like climb and hike and all these things. So you take these. And I remember thinking like, maybe I'll take a mini retirement right now. Like I'll just take a month or two off, because I just life is just really blurry for me right now, right? And the story I have is like 2-week vacation in Kauai, because Kauai was like my favorite. It's like still my favorite. I love Kauai, right? I was like, oh man, like honestly, I would love to live there later when we're finishing. Right? But like, I love Kauai, right? And it's just quiet. It's just like sometimes I just need quiet, right? And I could think there. So 2 weeks turned to 2 months because nobody was there. Like during COVID, I was like, oh my gosh, like as much as tourists are great, like honestly, I can't stand tourists. Like it's like I like the beach. Like locals don't like, you know what I mean? Like I get it, right? Like you want to see nature for how nature had intended it, right? Tourists are fine. Everyone starts to say, my friends are tourists, right? But my point is, like I never saw the beaches this quiet, and I was just like my wife, I was like, we can't leave. Like let's just stay. And I remember we stayed in Kapa'a. Is it that am I saying? Kapa'a. Stayed there for in the 2 weeks we booked and stayed for 2 months. And then I remember thinking, like, oh, maybe we just visit family and we just stay the holidays. So we ended up getting a place in Manoa. And then we're like, man, maybe we should just look into a house, maybe, right? And then we connected with some friends, and then this kind of house opened up. And my story is like, I felt like the island was like, you're staying here, you know? And I was like, but I'm like, nah. And then like two weeks turned to 2 months, turned to 2 years. I remember I lived out a suitcase in Costco. I bought everything at Costco. I had a suitcase. I stayed for 2 years. And I remember when I went back to California, I still have my house there. And I remember I turned on my water faucet and exploded because nothing was running for that long. And, you know, you asked me why I'm here. I love Hawaii. And it's not just the aina. It's not just the beauty of it, right? Like, I love the people. I love Proa Kalawao. Shout out Proa Kalawao. My favorite home course in all of Hawaii. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love golf here. Honestly, Kamaga, I love you as a brother, right?
Too.
It's like, yo, and I do love things about California, okay? Like, so when I need to get things done, like I'll go over there, and like I still go back and forth these days. But while I'm here, I really do think I had a calling to be here. I think one of my callings was to support you, my friend. Like genuinely, I like that's just been part of my ethos. Is like, if I can help, I will help. But I don't want to help people that are unwilling to help themselves, right? That's why I'm watching and testing, and not everybody honestly is ready for the help. Sometimes you help. Have you heard of the caterpillar? I learned this on Lost, actually.
I feel like I might know where you're going.
So it's like sometimes you got to struggle, right? So like, I mean, John Locke said this, but he's like, you know, if a caterpillar starts to, By the way, do you know what do they go in? Like, fun fact, like, what do they go in to become a butterfly?
I don't know, but I remember just hear my sister-in-law, I think, told me about something. They don't go into a cocoon. It's like something, a chrysalis or
Chrysalis.
something.
Yeah, I was arguing with my son. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's a cocoon. No, it's a
Yeah,
cocoon.
yeah.
But I guess the cocoon, but it's called a chrysalis. But once they go into the chrysalis or the cocoon, like, you know, it's transforming into a butterfly. But if you like cut the top and you don't allow the caterpillar to struggle, I guess it's like, it doesn't like squeeze out all the liquids or something. And if you help it, it just doesn't grow or it dies. It's just something. I might be butchering it. Just, you guys can check it or whatever.
I get the point where you're going.
But the point is, the struggle is like what unlocks the beauty.
Yeah, with the journey is the destination.
Right. So for me, I feel like my vision or calling for myself is I've been very fortunate to be rooted in technology and entrepreneurship and culture in California. And I feel like I've been able to activate at a very high level over there. And I just want to be able to unlock it here in Hawaii. And like, honestly, like that's why Hawaii Creators, it was like, yo, like I saw it in California. I saw Wong Fu Productions and Just Kidding Films and all these like creators like hui up and get together. And that's actually how they got bigger, was like they would do collabs and their following would grow from that. I was like, we should do that in Hawaii. And no one did it. So I linked up with Danny from 808 Viral and Darren from Hawaii Entrepreneurs and started this community, and it was just cool. Like, it was like, and honestly, I just gave it a brand name and a vibe, and then it became the largest creator group in Hawaii, right? Because there was none. And after us, like, it was like, why? This is it, right? And I never really intended to do anything with it other than just like have a place where they can gather. And then, even with this Pokemon stuff, it's like, we really, like, I appreciate the vendor community, but I also appreciate the collector community. And I wanted to, together, I think, wanted to create a space where the community could flourish. And it wasn't always about transaction. It wasn't all about, honestly, like gambling is, people have their own opinion, but I enjoy like the collectibles and the community components of Pokemon, right? I enjoy, like, because I have a son. And it's literally been the best thing for my relationship with him, is to be able to connect over Pokemon cards. And I enjoy it now. And, parents lose that with their kids because when they grow old, they don't want to talk to their parents anymore. Like, I know Eevee, I know Charizard, I know Bulbasaur. I ripped a Squirtle on live TV. Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You just got the cool dad points.
Right? But the reality of it is like, I just feel like my calling here is, one, technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, supporting. I've already supported a couple entrepreneurs that have literally, I'll shout out one, Shaka Electrical. I was like, this is the best name for an electric company. But I remember helping him build a brand and his website. And dude, I remember he hit me up. He's like, Daniel, thank you so much. Like, I'm doing this full time now. Cause I was kind of pushing. I was like, hey, why don't you try it?
Yeah.
How can?
Yeah, how can? And I will just add, you've never taken a cent from any of us, from anybody in Hawaii. Like, that's why I think the island is allowing you to be here, because you've given more than you've taken. And yeah, you've made me money. You've never taken a cent from me. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And you said, why are you here? I hope to do more. And I hope to do it in a non-gatekeepy, non-competitive, non-talk stink on everyone else way. Like, it's corny. Like, honestly, it's too small. Too small of an eye. There's 1 million of us. There's 1 million, and there's 9 million that visit every year. It's like, everyone's Ohana here, dude. It's going to get around. Like, it's too small. I know they say, oh, they think Hawaii. No, it is too small. It's too small not to be Pono. So the next iteration of being Pono is be innovative together.
Yeah, let's do it together. It's a kako thing. That's what they say. It's all of us inclusive. I will say this last thing just so we could get it on record. And I don't know if this will go on social or anything, but Daniel and I, like the things that we're working on with Simon, with some of our other business partners, the things that we want to do, it's going to change Hawaii. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, we're about to make huge changes to Hawaii. We're going to help the economy. We're going to help the future entrepreneurs. Like, yeah, this card show is cool, and that's like the surface. Like, we have so many things brewing, and in the next 6 to 18 months, you guys are going to be mind blown, and you guys are going to hopefully enjoy the benefits. more so for people in the Asian kind of pop culture scene. But that's going to trickle into like the native Hawaiian culture and like creating jobs and creating opportunities for people to not have to leave to have these experiences. But I'm going to say, watch what we do in the next 6 to 18 months because it's going to be life-changing, not only for us, but for everybody living here. So leave you with that, and then let's take a shishi break.
Let's go.
I just wanted to say a big mahalo to our travel partner, Hawaiian Airlines, for supporting this podcast. One thing I always appreciate about Hawaiian is that no matter where you're headed, they always find ways to bring a little piece of home with you. Starting July 1st, they're rolling out a new onboard dining experience featuring meals created by Maui's own chef, Sheldon Simeon. So whether it's mochiko chicken and garlic noodles, a teriyaki chicken bento, or an island-style breakfast, you'll be able to pre-order your meal before your flight and enjoy a true taste of Hawaii in the air. And for our Kama'aina listeners, Hawaiian is saying mahalo to its Huaka'i members with a special launch offer. Huaka'i members can receive their first 2 pre-ordered meals free as they try out the new menu. They're also featuring local favorites like Anahola Granola, Diamond Bakery, Hawaiian Host, and Honolulu Cookie Company on board. Check out the new menu and book your next trip with Hawaiian Airlines. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Mahalo to Water for giving me the best quality shishi in town. Still looking for a drink sponsor, so if anybody wants to hit us up, hit us up. All right, so let's get into the social media fan questions. Before we actually do that, every episode we do a giveaway. We actually did a giveaway together, one of the early ones, right? With Isaiah and some Pokemon cards. You helped do the Aloha name and iPhone giveaway. So you know how this goes. But I asked the guests for a secret phrase or word to give to the audience so that they can email my assistant for extra 10 entries into the giveaway. And then this giveaway is a pretty awesome one. There's like a bunch of Pokemon cards. Sorry, no, not Pokemon. One Piece. We're giving away a One Piece slab right over my left shoulder. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you're watching the full episode, maybe. And then we're tickets to the One Piece live orchestra coming to the Blaisdell, which is super cool. If you're a One Piece fan, you do not want to miss this, okay? Or just anime fan in general. So do you have a phrase or a secret word you can share?
Like a full phrase?
Anything. Yeah. It could be a word too, just a single word.
I would say proximity.
Ooh, proximity. Okay, proximity. That's a good one. I always say proximity is the best wingman. In relationships, in like, business, like basically just getting yourself around the thing that you want.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like the theme of even us talking is like, I think if you're close to the fire, you have a better chance of getting lit. If you're not close, you won't. So even being close in proximity to this podcast, you might catch something that changes everything, right? Yeah. So, yeah, proximity.
Love it. Okay, well, message is a word, proximity, and your favorite anime to my assistant, Nicole at keepitaloha.com. That's NICOLE at keepitaloha.com. All right, and you get a 10 extra entries. Maybe I should start making it 20 extra entries, actually.
Maybe for this episode.
Maybe too. Well, we'll start it at this episode. Let's go 20 extra entries now. 20. Hey. Give you guys an extra advantage. All right. Okay, social media questions. This one comes from Hamajang Breaks. So shout out to Hamajang Breaks, Cameron, one of our vendors at the Keep It Low Card Show.
Let me guess. He asked, how do we stop birds from pooping?
He did not ask that, but he's probably thinking that. And we're trying to figure that out too. You can't stop nature.
Yeah. We're not gatekeeping bird poop, okay?
Yeah, I wish we could. Yeah. That's one thing I would love to gatekeep. He says, having experienced shows in Hawaii and in the mainland, what is the key differences you can see? And he's talking about card shows.
Security.
Yeah. Oh, security?
Well, this is what I'm hearing already, but like, I feel like Hawaii has like a natural built-in security system because it's like ohana, right? Like we're all looking out for each other. I think mainland's a little colder, meaning like it's funny, right? Like here, I say hi to my neighbors all the time, right? Like in California, it's like people like just run into their houses, like, oh shit, don't look. Like honestly, that is a real thing. And I feel like that environment, that energy in California, very transactional. Like, how much is that? But like, you do that here, you might offend somebody. Like, hey, how much is that? Nah, not cool.
Oh, say hi first.
Yeah. Like, oh, you want to make big body. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I feel like the respect is all, at least from what I've experienced, it's always there. There's like kind of that unsaid respect and almost like, hey, like, you know, I'm probably gonna see you again, right? But like at these other car shows, like, man, you know, like you're hearing thefts all the time. Like, you know, I had to get security, legit security in our California show because it's a real problem. Like people are getting like robbed. You know what I mean? And it's like to think about that here, like you're like, oh, who?
Yeah.
You know, like oh, we're gonna find out, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like, you
I
know,
mean, that's what happened, right? Elite trainer Tony.
Oh.
One guy stole a card from the Pro Ridge show. Who blasted him on social media.
so I'm saying is like, and I don't even was that guy a local?
He wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
like, you local stealing here? I mean, come on, dude.
You're
It's
gonna
like,
catch cracks. You saw what happened to a guy who threw a rock at the Monksio.
like,
The Aloha
Yeah.
police came and took care of business.
and it's like it's almost like you got what you like. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like there is like almost like a local like code of honor, but like I think that's the biggest thing is like, you know, it's just, and I hope we don't lose that. I hope we don't lose it. I think, you know, the community and the energy of like the vendor community is a real thing. That's why Kamaka, I love that you. If you guys don't know, Kamaka is trying to get like sponsors to like get food for all the vendors every show, right? To like, you know, and he thinks of other ways to get vendors traffic to like, you know, to get more sales. Like we're trying to create an ecosystem that benefits the vendors. And I feel like, you know, you've done an amazing job, like even with the banana bread and now pizza and the
7-Eleven
musubis.
Musubis. Shout out to 7-Eleven. You can't say musubi on here. That won't fly.
Yeah.
Musubi.
musubi. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like that would be the worst thing to lose is the community and like the culture, right? So like, I do love that like a lot of the vendors know each other, right? And I just hope that it doesn't turn too competitive. And I think there's enough. I think there's enough that goes around. But honestly, one of the visions that we have is like, my vision is like, man, you know, be super cool is if we can get, hey, Hawaiian Airlines, if we could figure out how to like fly a handful of vendors out to California and we give them free tables at our event. Cause I think we're going to be able to do a monthly show in California now in Orange County and maybe expand. But my whole goal, it's like, it talks about in the book is how do you go from island to internet or island to other states? And I know there are a handful of vendors that do this. They go to other shows, but you know, that would be an awesome vision is to be able to like, you know, not only take like, yes, the transactional side, there's business. And I love that because you're learning how to do business. But like the community parts, like how do we like team up? And now you got Hawaii Row. And I've seen them. I've been to the mainland shows and I see a row of vendors from Hawaii, like, you know, getting tables next to each other, which is awesome,
Yeah.
you know, but.
And a big difference over there is that people do have deeper pockets and people do buy like clear people out, and that doesn't happen as often here in Hawaii.
There's more resources, but I will say this, our show,
Yeah.
man, there's been a lot of really good buyers and a lot like heavy transactions. I don't know if it's because we're of where we're at Salt, but like, you know, some of the feedback is like our show has been really, you know, profitable, and you know, I think maybe because tourists are coming through.
Well, it's new people. Like you don't see the same people at our show that you see at these like the other monthly shows, right? It's because it brings in a new crowd. That's what people say. That's what Darren said as well when I was on the radio with him. But since we're on this topic, let's talk about the Keep It Low events and why we started a card show. I don't think I talked about that on the podcast, but this is a perfect opportunity to share, you know, a little bit more about what we're trying to do. And it's not just me being addicted, ripping packs. People know that we rip packs at the end. They know I'm addicted to Pokemon. They know I'm doing my God Pack challenge. And the God Pack challenge, when we talk about success, that's a great example of every day we're failing in front of people. We failed for 140 something days. But one day when we get our God Pack, you know, hopefully it doesn't get to like the 200 or the 1,000. But if it does, that's just a lesson, right? I had to fail X amount of times until I achieved my goal.
Well, I want to highlight this. This is a great example of you taking some information. So there's another one, IRA, like my friend tells me, it's like information, recognition, action.
Mm-hmm.
You get the information, do you acknowledge it? Is it good or bad? Like, right? But then are you going to take action on it? So like, a friend of mine, and he's actually doing really well, but he gave me this IRA, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And Kamaka, to your point, I remember talking to you about this. I was like, hey, bro, there's like these series, like day 1, day 2, day 3, and because I would watch these, and I just gave it as a concept of saying, if it happens, guess what happens? After 300 episodes, they're gonna go all the way back to 1 and watch the whole thing because they want to see how you got there or whatever. Because I was seeing those, and to your point, like, look, people like know you even more now for ripping packs now.
Yeah, I know.
But
funny.
it's the consistency of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's my strength is consistency. But yeah, it's funny. I think I've mentioned it before. It's like, usually I get recognized for the podcast, but nowadays I'm like, I go out and they're like, hey, Kamaka Ribs, or hey, did you get your God Fact yet? So it's funny. It's just, I exist in these different worlds now, or some people know me from that video I did with Markian, or my race 50K.
Do you remember how
speaking Hawaiian?
Do you remember how you got into Pokemon?
Yeah, well, the origin story. Let's go with the origin story of Kamaka Rips and Keep It Aloha card show. Was we were selling merch at the Melekalikimaka Christmas Market in December 2025 last year. And it was really slow. And you've been telling me to get into Pokemon for a while. I had friends kind of in Pokemon too. So I saw what was going on, but like I don't know. I didn't want to spend my money on it, or I was busy with other stuff. We end up going to Windward Collectibles. We got a booster box of Phantasmal Flame.
Do you remember
calling you? Like, which one do I get?
Oh, Isaiah.
Yeah. And then you guys told me to get it, and it was cheaper at that time.
Yeah.
No,
hold on. But no, because this is important because this is crazy. Okay, Kamaka, you had the fate between this product or this product, and I remember Isaiah said he should get the booster box, and I was like, are you sure, Isaiah? It's like pretty expensive. He's like, no, because the hit. But to the point of Isaiah had the information, right? And then you recognized and made action on it. And the rest is history. No, that needs to be a point because I remember you called. You didn't just pick. You called and you were like, hey, I'm going to be humble enough to not make my own dumb luck. I'm just going to ask.
Yeah, ask somebody who knows more than me. That's my whole life. It's like, why would I pretend like I know something? I'm like, just ask somebody who's smarter than me.
Or at least you had proximity with someone that had some information that maybe you didn't have.
Yeah.
And you weren't prideful, too egotistical to not, right? Like, oh, maybe I don't want to bother. It's like, no, you just asked.
Yeah.
And then, dude.
Ask and you shall receive. So we ended up getting the booster box, went home after the market around midnight. We opened it with Faith, my sister. Faith got the gold Charizard, and we didn't even know how much it was worth. Or we were like, oh, cool, a Charizard. And then the next pack she opens was the SIR Charizard, Special Illustration Rare Charizard, which is like $800 now. It's worth like over $2,000 in a 10. And it did come back as a 10. It was our first card we got graded.
Crazy.
And I didn't realize how crazy it was until now, 2,000 packs later, I see how hard it is because everybody's like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Dude, how do you know? Like, the listeners, just to understand this, dude, out of one booster, like, just think about that. Like, you had a split decision. Should I buy this cheaper ETB or whatever it was, and then this booster? And that booster literally origin story of the villain Kamaka Rips now, right? ripping. No, but like that's like, has that ever happened to you since?
No.
Crazy.
Never. Yeah.
It was meant to be.
The closest thing was we ripped the Chaos Rising booster box at the other market, and I got a SIR, and then my friend got the gold Greninja. So I mean, smaller stuff, but that's the closest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
But on your first
booster
purchase.
box, and I think about it like, if there was nothing in there, we wouldn't be here. There would be no Kamaka Rips. There would be no Keep It Aloha events. I don't think we'd be here talking about these things. I don't think Collector would sponsor us. I don't think I'd have doing Pokemon giveaways and all these things. It was all because Fate got those 2 top chase cards, and we were that dopamine rush. Got so addicted, and I went so into it. And then you coach me a little bit. You're like, hey, Kamaka, like, be smart, right? Don't just spend all your money just to spend money. And then, I learned a little bit more. I started to sell. I started to, just make smarter decisions, which is what I need you for. And then one of the the Croc Center. I forget what market that was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then you're like, you ever thought about doing a show? I was like, maybe. I mean, I have the connections. So I called up Lincoln and I asked, "Oh, is Salt available?" Because that's one of his shopping centers that he does marketing for. And he's like, "Yeah." So we worked out a deal with him. We we got it together in May. You had your own stuff going on in California with Merch Labs. Bryson, we brought Bryson along. He's one of the first vendors that I met, and now he's part of our team. He's like vendor communication, vendor management. We did the first event, 5,000 people over 2 days. You know, I got sponsored. I basically took the template, the SOP of how I get money and connections for the podcast, because now I have experience getting sponsors. So I was like, okay, let me do this with the card show. So hit up Waikea, hit up Aloha Card Shop, hit up Collector, got the sponsorships, we got tables, we got water for everybody, we got all of this, filled tables. It was a great event. And that was just the beginning of something very beautiful. And we wanted to make it different, you know, like live music, things for the kids, free packs. Now we have balloon twisting, glitter tattoos. It's not just a card show. It's a community event. And the first one was to give back to the vendors because they were so nice to me. They welcomed me in. And I understand, like, in a sense, I was a howlet to the community, the Pokemon community. I didn't want to just be, oh, this guy's an influencer and he's just trying to take all of our business or whatever. Like, no, like, I truly love Pokemon. I truly love the vendors. I want to give them a good experience. That's why we did the first event free. That's why we keep our tables cheap. Every event, we could make over we could be pocketing over $10,000 ourselves. Like, I'm going to put that, we could easily be pocketing $10,000. We do not, because we want to keep this cheap and accessible to people. We have other ways we can make money. We're not trying to make money do this. We're not trying to compete with anybody. We're not trying to take away from anybody else. We're trying to create an experience for people. We're trying to give vendors new opportunities. Every show we give 20% of spaces for new vendors because everybody complains, I can't get into shows. We're basically just trying to solve problems and using our entrepreneurial mind to make the best experience for customers and vendors. Oh, I got to pay to get into all these card shows, so it stops people from going. It's free to go to our card shows. Oh, I can't roll strollers. I can't bring, dogs around. Barn's the perfect area because it's outdoor, indoor. So we're just trying to, I vended one time, I'm like, oh, gosh, I can't even find the time to go get food, water. So that's why at our events, I'm like, I make sure I get food and water for the vendors because they don't have time to go and eat all the time if it's busy. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep it aloha in the way I know how to do it and separate ourselves from the other card shows. And it's like a festival, right? And like we said, like, card show now, maybe something later where we meet the community where culture's at.
Yeah, I think, to kind of rewind, I remember you didn't even want, like, the idea was to just do a community event because Keep It Aloha podcast has grown such a large online following. And the original idea, I remember you asking, like, hey, what do you think we could do? And I remember thinking, like, we should throw a community event. And the Salt Barn was where we were going to do it. But I remember thinking, like, and again, to the point, like, resources, timing, and, being able to recognize, like, cultural trends. Like, why don't we just do a Pokemon card show? It was just an idea. And we're like, cool. And then now it's, a monthly show. And, we have other ideas of how to expand it. And I think, honestly, that's one thing. Like, I know you brought up, like, how much we could make. But, I'm very, like, long-term on everything I do, right? It's like, who cares? Like, a little bit of money here, great. I mean, 10,000 is a lot, right? But, like, it's like, I'm not short of ideas. I'm not short of resources. I'm just getting started. Like, we're both getting, like, we're not a one-trick pony. This isn't like, oh, yeah. Like, it's like, we're constantly thinking of different ideas. And now I'm having these meetings with other people that are in our space, right? So that's why the California one, you kind of want to be low key about it, but like one of my friends, he started like the Hello Kitty Cafe and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Pizza, like in One Piece Cafe, like, and he had this location. He's like, let's try it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're at a certain level, like other people, like, there's a certain level of respect because they're executors and then get it done. I want to work with executors. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's fun working with executors because you get innovate and do really cool things. And the thing is like, that's the like even throughout this whole podcast like session we're doing is like think bigger. You know, like people argue and they fight because they're fighting over scraps. You know, when you're sitting at a table and there's omakase with like abundance, people sit there and go like, I don't need to eat everything right now. I want to pace myself. Right? The worst thing to do is go to like an amazing steakhouse and just chomp on all the bread. But you see people with a scarcity mindset. They're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna get this again." And then by the time they're done, like the steak comes out and or whatever, right? Like the main course is like, "Oh, I'm so full. I shouldn't have ate so much." Yeah, maybe that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dead serious right now. It's like, yo, like maybe like just think bigger.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can leak this a little bit, but like I work with the top anime studios in the world. So we're trying to like button up everything so we could bring these amazing experiences here.
Yeah.
Like I've already talked about trying to do Hello Kitty Cafe in Hawaii. I'm trying to see if I can make it happen, right? There are other things, like I did this Jasmine Dragon Cafe pop up with Dante Bosco, right?
The cast of Avatar.
Dude, I brought the whole cast of all the voice actors. And it was the first time we brought Comic-Con to the people. So I had, like, go look it up, Jasmine Dragon Cafe. All the avatars came, like, not all, but like a lot of the voice actors came out. And we had 4-hour-long lines, and I had them like autographing everything. It was a meet and greet, photos, merchandise, the whole thing. I'm like, those are the things I'm trying to do. I want to bring experiences to Hawaii. And honestly, what I thought about a lot too is because I have a lot of local friends that can't leave the island. It's too expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have lots of friends, right? You're working, the salaries don't match up with the cost of living and inflation. So we have bad spending habits, and we want to enjoy all the things that we're seeing online and on TV. So we're like saving up our paychecks to go to Vegas, to gamble a little bit and watch Morgan Wallen, to gamble a little bit and, you know, eat at a steakhouse and watch BTS.
Right.
Like, we don't have Aloha Stadium, so we can't get to those people here yet. But
Yeah.
like, what if we could just bring them here? And there's the Kama'aina discount, right? And what if we can just make it accessible for people here, so you don't have to spend your 3 months of paychecks to fly somewhere to experience that. You can experience it in your own backyard.
Yes. Like, why not bring the experiences here? So, and honestly, that's what I feel like I would love to do, Kamaka. Like, I want to try to champion this movement of bringing experiences here to the islands so that, like, honestly, like, so my neighbors and my friends, they don't have to save up for like 8 months to try to go, you know, to California or to Japan, like for just like a week, and then it's just so much, and then getting into debt, and it's like, man, I wonder if I could just bring these experiences here. So that's,
But you know what else that also does? How does that help the local economy?
exactly,
Jobs.
exactly. And by the way, hey, maybe you could tell my idea. Hey, we could timestamp this idea. But you remember I was telling you about how I wanted to do a food play, but I have a lot of friends in food in California, and I was like,
Oh, our night market idea?
yeah, but like, do you remember what
You
I
guys
said?
better not steal this if I say this online.
But the strip, what did I say?
Yeah. So we want to do a night market, a Keep It All night market, which would be the next iteration. Cards in the barn, so we have that always. Cards will be our staple. But music, food vendors, we want to have a section of food vendors that we bring in from California or wherever, and we're going to name it Hollywood. So basically, you know, we complain, oh, there's no good Mexican food, or like, oh, wish we had In-N-Out here or whatever. What if we just brought them here for a weekend?
Yeah.
And it's 10% of the night market, you know, 90% for the locals, of course.
Yeah.
But what if just 10% is In-N-Out and the best Mexican restaurant in California? That you don't have to go and spend, flights are expensive these days. And then hotel, rental car.
Yeah.
Just you're spending over $1,000 to get In-N-Out.
I love that name Hollywood, but I'm just worried. I'm like, yo, is that okay to use though? Come on,
It's okay if I use it. That's why
yeah.
you partner with a token. You have a token Hawaiian in your business.
Oh man, but
that's
that'd be
why-
hilarious, dude. Come on, that'd be
you guys
the
love
coolest.
it, right? Let us know what you think.
No, but can you imagine, like, if we were to pull it off, like, In-N-Out, like, you know, El Torino, or, you know, King Taco? Because, dude, people, you know, like, you get some of the big. Look at the craziness that Sonic.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, but imagine we were able to bring, like, fly over like 10 of these, like, you know, mainland or you know, like non-Hawaii restaurants, and just bring him for like a week.
Yeah.
Right. Or whatever. It's like, dude, that'd be the coolest thing. That's another thing. in business, there is the money part, but like honestly, like I've always felt like I like working on cool projects. It's just fun. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you can mix your business with like pleasure, it's not really business.
That's
you know?
some Pokemon for me. That's what this podcast is for me.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But yeah, so all that to say is we have really good intentions and we have really awesome ideas cooking for everybody. You know, it's like we don't do this for money, we don't do it for views, we don't do it to be like, we do it for people. And that's gonna be our mission. That's what Keep It Aloha events is gonna be. That's what this podcast is gonna be. That's what everything I touch ever is gonna be. Is always gonna be for other people. So
Hey, can I try something? Or is there more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, we just got a couple.
Yeah.
Next one comes from B Street Shoes. This person says, "What are some difficult parts of running the company Merch Labs?"
Oh, every day. You're putting out fires all the time.
Yeah.
I think that growth, as much as it's great, is a real problem because you can't take the old you into new things. So it's like my son, right? I love my son, but he changes, right? So like once you have a baby and you figure it out, you're like, oh, I learned how to change diapers. Oh, he's eating solids. All of a sudden now they're running. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta go hey, don't touch that. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, now they have a bigger appetite. And so you're constantly solving new problems. But I think that's one thing like I've learned that's a deeper thought is like enjoying the process. I tell this to my guys a lot. I'm like, hey guys, I know it sucks right now. Embrace it. Embrace the suck. But like, you know, we might be in situations in like 10 years where we'll look back and be like, remember that? Remember when we were just in this like one bedroom, like dude, Deep Fried Productions was like I had a condo in downtown LA, and that was like the beginning office, and it was like I have great memories of that. You know what I mean? But like I think some of the difficulties in that is like scaling, and then also like, you know, trying to balance like the projections versus where you're at. So you want to go there, and like budgeting, right? So as you know, for me, like I'm like, hey, you got to save for rainy days. I don't like being in debt. I like playing with house money. So, you know, instead of being like overextended on credit all the time and just being like I told you, investing over gambling. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I don't like to gamble. I like calculated risks, and I like when I'm right. Like fantasy football. I gotta draft the right guy. No, but you know, it's like calculated though, right? And like, that's why honestly, I like poker over blackjack. I mean, meaning like, I feel like I have a little bit more control like in the game of poker, but I think business is like that. Like you have to like understand there's growth, but you gotta like grow with the business. I hate that. I hate wishing. Like I'm gonna say that. I cannot stand when someone goes, I want this, I want that, I wish this. I was like, okay, well, what are you doing to get there? Like what sacrifices are you making to achieve that level where you are at the right character level to actualize that? Jinwoo, solo leveling. He didn't start S rank. He had to go through cave. Like all you like anime guys out there, right? He's like, got to go from cave to cave to cave to cave. And he leveled up. So in business, that's probably the most challenge. Like understanding that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. And also having the mindset where you don't break, because it can get really daunting. Like your bank account goes low. I've been in situations where like, oh my gosh, my bank account is so low. But you have to adjust and not continue to spend and risk on unnecessary things. You have to shrink. Like I've had to shrink many times to accommodate the growth, right? Because I'm like, oh, this is not a growth season, gotta shrink. Oh, grew too fast, I gotta expand, right? So it's like that constant like, you know, what is that? Accordion? What am I doing?
Accordion,
right? It's like grow, like contract and grow, contract and grow. And I think that's what makes a really good entrepreneur is understanding what season you're in and when to go, when to throttle back, when to go, when to throttle back.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I mean, it's up and down. It's a journey. Just stick with it. Don't give up.
Yes.
And you're gonna be times of, whoa, that's a cool amount in my bank account, and then you're gonna be like, why is there $100 left in my bank
exactly.
account? That's crazy. Speaking from experience, guys. All right, last question, then we'll get into the other ones. Puas _pickled_ treat says, what advice would you give your teenage self?
I give myself pick a Instagram handle with less underscores. No, I'm just
Thank you. I am
I'm messing up.
underscores. I talk about that all the time. You don't know that I talk about how,
No,
why
I'm
do
just
people
joking.
use so many underscores.
No. Hey, I'm just playing with you. Hey, I appreciate.
I'm not playing.
So what I would tell my younger self, I would just say, embrace it all. You know, I'm gonna go back to this. We're not humans going through a spiritual experience. We're spirits going through a human experience. It's like when you understand that, that unlocks everything into a different perspective. Because all the good and the bad, it's just what is. So I got a good story on this, and maybe this will impact you, right? So Tom Brady, I heard him tell the story, but there's this story of this Chinese. There's a Chinese parable of like
Maybe.
yeah, the maybe, right? So it's like he's like. Or the way I interpret it is like, so this guy goes and gets a horse. He's like, oh, wow, how lucky. And he's like, oh, we'll see, or maybe, right? And then that horse ends up leaving. And oh, how unlucky. And he's like, we'll see, maybe, right? And then the horse comes back with 2. And he goes, wow, look how lucky. He got 2 horses. He's like, yeah, we'll see, maybe. And then his son hops on one of the horses and he falls off and breaks the leg. He goes, oh, how unlucky. He goes, maybe. But then there's like this war draft. And then the kid, because he broke his leg, doesn't have to go to the war. He goes, oh, how unlucky, or how unlucky. He goes, well, we'll see, maybe. And I think the whole point is like, life is a journey, right? Like Tom Brady saying that the greatest football player of all time, I'm going to say it like that for sure. It's like, dude, he's gone through how many ups and downs. You know, the greatest comeback of all time, in my opinion, the Falcons game. Like if you walk into that already defeated, you're done. He said, we'll see, maybe. So what I would tell myself, like, yo, used a lot of energy on things that didn't happen. Used a lot, that could, all that depression, all that anxiety. I don't mean to get emotional here, but there's real loss that happens because they don't allow themselves to be in a, we'll see, maybe. You know, people out there, and I'm sorry I get emotional, but like, mental health is a real thing, right? And like, what I would encourage is just to be like, hey, we'll see, maybe. Like, is this the end of the road? We'll see, maybe. Oh, I just crushed it. We'll see, maybe. It's like, this is a human experience. Like, don't get so down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never.
Okay.
No.
I got small eyes, bro.
We usually keep this energy.
No, but like,
because we'll see.
yeah,
Or
we'll
maybe
see.
somebody
We'll
you're gonna
see.
need it.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, the truth is, I have COVID was tough for a lot of people. Okay, and you locked someone down. Isolation is really tough. You lock someone down for like a year. Like, it was really tough, right? Especially on an island. Like, there's a lot of people here, dude. I don't want to talk about too many things because it's just tough topics, right? But like, when I was younger, I genuinely did not like. There was a time in my life where I felt like, I don't care, because I'm passionate, right? Like, what's the point of this thing? And like all those people that are out there that are like, this emotional charge, like, you don't know what's right around the corner. Kamaki, you taught me how to surf. I didn't know this thing about lazy paddling. You know what I mean? And I was so discouraged. I was like, I'm never gonna learn how to surf. This sucks, right? And then I remember, like, dude, it's a slight tweak. Like, sometimes you're 3 feet from gold.
Yeah.
But our emotions, we feel like there's absolute and it's over. Come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no.
Put your chest up. Paddle better. You catch a wave.
Yeah, or find someone that knows how to paddle and like look at what they're doing. Like Tom Brady could have gave up. He won a Super Bowl, dude. That was the craziest. I'm sorry for Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
It's all right. They're in the NFC South. They're our rivals for the Saints.
But you get what I'm saying? It's like, yo, don't give up. Don't give up. Show up. Don't give up. And also, keep a light heart. That was like, sometimes I get like really down, right? And I just got to remind myself, like, stop. It's okay. It's all right.
Poke therapy. Rip some packs.
That's like, honestly, you know what? Actually, I was really depressed when I moved to Hawaii. I got into card collecting. I remember I bought Luka Doncic. I remember I was like, I got a couple of silver. And shout out to Darren Kimura from ESPN Honolulu, and he does the collectible car show at Pearl Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
He was educating me on cards. You know what I used to do, Kamaka, when I would be depressed? I'd just stare at the cards, and it made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
What an investment. That I could be so down and so depressed, and then I could like take this card out, and it just transformed and changed my energy. And like, I think that's what happens when you're young. You think it's like hope is one of the most powerful like concepts and energies to hold on to in this world, right? It's what it fuels all great entrepreneurship. It's hope, right? But you got to also ask yourself, are you doing the right things? Are you drinking a little too much? Are you staying up too late? Are you not sleeping? You got to do the basics. Like, you got to eat right. You got to sleep. You got to take care of these bodies. These are our vessels. You have to do something. You have to do the right things to set yourself up for success. Like, Tom Brady didn't just like, I just ate a bunch of chips on the bench and binged on Netflix, and then I was just ready to take advantage of, you know what I mean?
I mean, his body of work is documented. I mean, he's like vegan or something. Like he takes good care of his body. That's why he was able to play to like 45.
Exactly.
However old he is.
But make the right decisions. If I was talking to my old self, it's like, take the time and understand it takes time. Like, honestly, if I was talking to my son right now, I would say the same thing. Like, embrace the suck. Don't worry about it. Like, dude, there's plenty of time.
It's all part of the experience. That's what I say in my book.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's another thing I would tell myself when I was younger. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. No worry before.
Plenty of time if you do work hard, though.
Yeah.
If you don't work hard and you don't have the right mindset, maybe you need to check yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And, but like, I tell my son too, is like, eczema is like just an indicator of things that are going underneath.
Out.
Yeah, right. So if something's happening to you at a young, just check, like, do an inventory check. Like, I wish I did that when I was younger. Like, man, maybe you're drinking a little too much, Daniel. Maybe you're playing too much StarCraft. Maybe you got a little too good at Counter-Strike. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, seriously, like, maybe you're eating too much fast food. Maybe, you're watching too much things that you are not conducive to your mental well-being. But that's a longer answer. But I appreciate underscore for asking that question, right? Because the reality of it is, I think there's a lot of young kids right now that are feeling hopeless because they think like, I can't do it, or just a lot of things. And sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but like,
no,
some things hit at home.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
we love it when people get emotional or cry on the podcast. That means I've done a good job as a host of creating a safe space.
Yeah.
So that's a compliment for me, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, mahalo everybody for the social media questions, and make sure you leave some for our next guest. And maybe a question will make it on the podcast. All right, so I know you had something to share, but let me do one more thing, and then we can just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Because I asked all of my guests the same question about keeping it aloha. It's the name of the book you helped me make. It's the name of the podcast. The design you also helped me make. It's on my shirts that you also helped me make. It's on the hat that you also helped me make. So, I know you know about keeping it aloha, but I want to know in your life, how do you keep it aloha?
I think it's this, just like sitting down and making space. Now, my favorite thing I have at my house, I love this thing. It says I got it in, I think I was in Oregon. I was going through Bend, and I remember feeling like I was slowing down. And there's another phase, like, try slow, catch flow. I love that, but it's like slow is smooth is fast, right? So when you slow down a little bit, you're smoother, and when you're smoother, it's actually faster. Because if you're just going fast, burn out. And on my wall, I have this thing. It says making space. It says SPACE, and it's spread out. Making space for life to happen. And I think the way I keep aloha is like, I turn my phone off. If I'm with somebody, I just have the space. If I'm with somebody, I want to make space. I want to mix in my world, right? Make space for aloha to happen. Make space for God to come in and intercede, right? Even when I was getting a little emotional, like, make space. That's how I keep it aloha. It's like not trying to rush everything. Pushing and trying to do things is great, but like just making space. Like right now, we're making space for conversation. And I think that's true beauty is like, aloha to me is like, when I'm at Yokes, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, just like nothing's around. You see the fish and they're just like not like freaking out. They're not like the Waikiki fish, right? Like, like with all sunblock in the water, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, it's just like being, there's a verse in the Bible. It's like, the bird never asks when its next meal is, or, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a natural flow of life. And I think that's how you keep it aloha. It's like, you become one with the rhythm of life. Oof. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you become one with the rhythm of life. And that's how you keep it aloha. You don't take more than you need, right? You don't do more than you. It's like give each day our daily bread. So, you say, oh, I give aloha. I donate. Yeah, I invest. Yeah, those are actions. I think the best way to keep it aloha is just be pono, be righteous, be in the moment, live the human experience, share time with good people. And, I think in the timeline of life, you are a good character in that time frame. Like maybe you wrote some things in history, whether you did a big thing or it was like, no, that was a good energy of that time sequence because he spent time the way it was supposed to be spent. He kept it aloha.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's a great answer. And it's funny you mentioned about this like slow is smooth is fast. Because I was just thinking about that the other day because I try to like do stuff on my phone and because I got other stuff I got to do. So I'm like texting and hopefully autocorrect just gets everything. So I'll keep doing it and it keeps messing up and delete, keep messing it. I'm going fast, typing fast. And then I'm just like, okay, slow down. It's the moment you think you got to speed up, just slow down, take a deep breath, type it out slowly. It does what I want it to do. And there's a lot of times like that. Like I'm hurrying home. I got a shishi. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a shishi. Get into this fumbling with my keys and trying to put it in the hole. I'm just like, okay, slow down. Put it in, open it, then go rush in. It's so true. How this, if you, at the moment you think you got to speed up, just slow down.
Do you know the story about the axe?
No.
So there's like two guys.
I know the Axe body spray.
Yeah. A little different than that. Yeah. But there's two guys that are in this like tree chopping competition. And they go, like, you got this like, 10 hours to chop this tree. So they go, ready, set, go. And the first guy starts going, ga, 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 ga. He's starting to go, he's like sweating and all these. He sees the other guy, he's just chilling. And like the audience is like, what is he doing? What is he doing? 2 hours go by, ga, 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 right? Third hour goes, same thing. 8 hours goes by. And the other guy is like, he's still sitting there. Just like, everyone's like, what is he doing? He's not like, he's just going to try to lose. Like, what's happening? And then the other guy, he's like sweating, but he's like, 70% done or whatever. And then right around like the last hour, he gets up, he takes his axe, and he goes, bak, bak, bak. And like, he just takes like a handful of hacks, and the tree falls. And the other guy was just, and like, what were you doing? He goes, well, while the other guy was chopping a tree with the dull axe, I spent 9 hours sharpening mine. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Nice.
You feel me? And I feel like maybe Hawaii, we need to think like that a little bit. Like, hey, instead of just making action for action, slow down. Let's get smoother. Let's hui up. And let's chop with more potency.
Nice. I love that. I never heard that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now you can test me, whatever you said you wanted to do.
Hey, one last one, just last gem, and then I want to have some fun. But one of my favorite things I talk about, like with some of the people I work with, I say, you can't have strong identity without clear vision. So that's why I'm really big on dreaming and visualizing. So you have to have vision first. So like even with the podcast or the events business or Birdo, the clothing line, or Aloha Nemen, you have to have vision, right, of what it is. So I'm really big on clarifying vision, right? So once you have vision, then you can have strong identity. If you don't have vision, you don't have identity. And if you don't have strong identity, you can't have potent action. So along with the axe analogy, right? It's like, if you want potent action, get a strong identity. Know who you are. If you're like leaking all over the place. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. I'm a card show. I'm a card like that's whatever that is, right? Like even for us, right? We go through that. It's like, what's our identity? Well, you know how we know our identity is? Because Kamaka, we spend a lot of time talking about vision. And when you have strong vision, you're starting to clarify who you are. Once you know who you are, you know what to say yes and what to say no to. Like Apple says, I think Steve Jobs said, for every, or Warren Buffett or one of us said, for every 100 things that come across my table, we say no to 99 things, we say yes to one. We're more proud of the things that we say no to than what we say yes. It's called discipline, right? But you only know what to say yes and no to when you understand who you are and you have a vision where you're going. So all the businesses in Hawaii, one thing I would really implore you to do is spend time on your vision, your long tail vision. Because what your competitor you think is might not be your competitor. They might be your ally, right? And that's what I'm encouraging everyone in Hawaii is like, like, hey, I love you. What'd you say? Like, community over competition? Absolutely. So with that being said, Kamaka,
Okay.
I want to do a test.
All right. This is basically like me and Daniel live. Micah's calling. I'm just going to answer it.
Yeah.
You're going to hear my
Where you
brother.
at, Micah?
Micah, I'm on the podcast. Stop calling me. This is going to be in the episode. Oh, see.
Okay.
Wow,
At least he
that's
knows.
quick. At least he
At least he knows. You need to have an
He's
auto
going to watch
response.
this. He watches the episode. So he's going to see this.
Love you, Micah. But
I wish I could say the same. Just kidding. I love you.
so I have a theory about social media.
Okay.
So, and I've talked to a couple other viral channels here and people that I advise. I said, if you want a clip to go viral, you have to have something that people will discuss. And usually people love like shock or like controversial
Yeah,
things.
it has to elicit an emotion.
Yeah, or what? Because I don't think that things go viral because of the clip. I think that they go viral because of the discussion. Little nugget for you all. No, dead serious. So, I wanted to do something real quick. So, I wanted to ask you, if you were governor of Hawaii, like what would you do? No, I want to get back to it, but I also want to think about what are some of the most hot topics in Hawaii?
Okay.
And I love for you, like, what would push buttons? I'm sorry to do this to you, but I want to know, like, because maybe this is a clip where people go, they clipped it and they go, and they're gonna like start talking. And my theory is, I'm wondering if we could do a clip or 2 or 3, and it's like such a hot topic, and see if people actually will start typing and no, you know what I mean? And why not here? Why not us? I'm just curious. Like maybe this is a segment that works. But so first question: if you were the governor of Hawaii, like tomorrow, I was like, Governor Kamaka Diaz, right? You have all the power. You have the keys to the state. What would you do? And also, I'm wondering what the listeners would do. Like, if you were the governor of Hawaii and you had the power of Hawaii, what would you do? What would you change? What things would you? What would you do?
Bad decision voting me in as governor, because the first thing I'm going to do is obviously build a zip line on top of Coco Head that goes down to Sandy's.
Of course you would.
That's the easiest answer. I didn't have to think about that. So besides that,
Build a zip line.
A zip line on the top of Coco Head that goes down to Sandy's.
You know what you should just do
Because
is
it's like going up, yeah, it's cool, you get the view, but it's the going down that gets your knees. I tell you guys, once you guys in your 30s, you don't get up the same, you don't get down the same.
It's funny, my son and I,
Like, it's a health concern.
we've gone down, like when we race down, because sometimes it's easier to just go down faster because you're like, and then at the end, like we'll sit and my son's like, do you get that, the hydraulics, the legs? It's like, because you're like,
I don't know.
But you know what's funny is like if we like put it in AI and we're like, yo, let's just design it and just say,
Yeah,
hey,
we'll show it. We'll put it in this clip. And then we'll show people the vision. Some people will be like, oh, no, don't do that. Or I don't know, they'll think of something about Hawaiian and the land, how it's not good. But I tell you what, free for Kama'aina, charge the tourists. We make money that goes into protecting Sandy's, that goes into preserving Coco Head, that goes into the Mauna Lua Bay. Boom. What you gonna say now?
Yo, this is gonna be your campaign strategy. You know that, right?
This is my campaign.
We're gonna
Zip line
create.
on Coco Head.
We're gonna create a whole like vision board of a zip line that goes down to Sandy's, and then it'd be like, yo, vote Kamaka Diaz,
Yeah.
governor.
Yeah, governor.
Yeah, vote for Zipline.
Yeah, and if what Sandy's is not on your side of the island, we can do that. We go do that at Mount Kaala. We do that at Pillbox, and we do that anywhere you like. Zip lines for auto mountains.
And it probably would be the longest zip line, and we'd win a Guinness Book of World Records too, right?
We go from I don't know whatever the closest highest mountain on the west side all the way down to Yokohama.
No, but okay. All seriousness though, like I'm curious, like. What do you think is one of the hottest topics of local needs? Like what?
Probably housing, homelessness, money, just like money in general, making money, spending money.
So what would you?
Living.
What do you think? Like if I was to say
sovereignty.
So if I give you a magic wand right now, and I gave it to you, what would you do? I'm sure you had a lot of podcasts.
I would. I think I'm like. The story of like a guy asks God for help and he's like waiting for him to be saved in the water. He sends a boat, he sends whatever, he sends a life vest, and then he drowns, he goes to heaven. It's like, God, why didn't you help me? It's like, I gave you all these things to help you, but he didn't like physically grab him and so I think I'd be more like that, honestly. Like I wouldn't just give people affordable housing. I wouldn't just give people free stuff. I don't believe in just giving things without I think people should earn it.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give people the opportunity.
So you basically would create a whole course of podcasts.
Yeah, I would create I would create
how to become a podcaster.
Entrepreneurs. I would create opportunities for people because if you just give things to people, they're gonna be lazy. Like, okay, I'm just gonna give a house to a homeless person, and then what are they gonna do with it? Like, right? It's like, are they gonna still work? How are they gonna pay the rent? So it's like I don't believe in just giving it to people. So I would give them opportunities like, here's a great job. I would create more jobs. I would create more affordable, living situations. And then I'd probably, I don't know, just bring in smarter people. Not saying that we don't have smart people here, but maybe we don't. Like, let's be real with ourselves, like.
Hey, hot take. Hey, that's going viral, bro. You can cancel, bro.
I mean, maybe some of our smartest people, they left. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? He don't live here. He used to live here. He's from here, but he's a smart guy. I mean, I love the book, his concept of that whole entire book, but he doesn't live here. So maybe if we had more people doing workshops here, and like we don't got to pay thousands of dollars to go leave and get all this information and then build it here. I mean, a lot of the smartest people here that probably have successful businesses, they probably read a book, took a course. Learn from somebody who is not from here. Yeah. But the people who are, once that person learns all the information, then that goes down to all the people that are here, right? Like for somebody like Zasha Smith or like Fuzzy, who they're really big into real estate here. They've learned all of that stuff from people not here, but now they're teaching it to people here.
I thought you were gonna say like I would start my enterprise Kamaka's Kendamas.
Kendamas, but I
give jobs to everybody.
If I could magic wand it, I would give people the entrepreneur mindset. I'd give people discipline.
I love that.
I would give people. I wouldn't give them money. I wouldn't give them a free house. I wouldn't give them a free car. Like I'll just give them the opportunity to be better.
I got one now. I got a question. When I say, I'm on this podcast. I'm not saying this is what I feel, but this is a hot topic. Locals are lazy.
Make sure we cut that without any
No. Hey, don't do that. Hey, don't do that. No, but what are your because I'm curious, like what is your thoughts on that? Locals are lazy.
I think we are. I'm a local.
No, wrong answer.
No.
Hey, what are you doing?
No. I think we have lazy tendencies. I think everybody, not just locals. Yeah. I think everybody's lazy at times. Maybe the only person that's not lazy is like the rocker Kevin Hart. Like I don't know when they ever have free time to be lazy. Yeah.
Because I love you. Can I add to this though? Like I've met so many local entrepreneurs, and I don't think they're lazy. And I'll explain why. I think that the lack of maybe resources or vision or proximity, it kind of encourages this energy of giving up quick, because you're like, it's like that. There's another story. Sorry, there's a ton of them, but like, I told you about the elephant, right? And it's like you see all these elephants in India.
Oh yeah.
Where they're like baby elephants, and the owners, they chain them down and they put them on a stake, and like the elephants can't move, and there's like, oh, and then they get a little older, and then they get to a point where it's just this point where they just give up because they're just like, this is just how it is.
It's all just a little stick that's holding them.
Yeah, and you get these huge elephants that just don't try to. They could easily just break the chain off and leave, but because they're so used to it, so I feel like this idea of locals are lazy. I don't think so. I definitely think that there's like a mindset that if we shift it, like, you know, and say, hey, the opportunities are here in 2026.
Yeah, well, I think to your point is we're not lazy. We need direction. We're hard workers. Remember, the brothers doing construction, they're hard workers.
Yeah.
They're like, I tell people, firefighters, you know, nurse, EMT, like those people, like, I feel like they work harder than me, right?
Yeah.
I work hard at different times of the day and I have spurts of working hard, but like, I got time where I can just like rip packs and watch TV shows, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's just people don't have direction. Like this is exactly what I was talking to you and Aaron the other day.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm happy with my life and I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish. There could be more that I could be doing. Yeah. Maybe grammar and English is one of them.
I could be due.
But sometimes you just need an extra motivation and somebody to push you in that direction because we have talented people.
Yeah.
But it's just people don't know what to do with that talent or that potential. That's why having mentors. I don't think a lot of people have mentors here. You know, so it's not that we're lazy. It's just we don't have direction. And but everybody, I think, humans in general, we all get lazy.
I'm getting
sometimes,
anxiety right now. I'm like, I know, Kamaka. I'm like, yo, I know you're gonna clip that and get me to say,
No,
locals. I'm like, I'm gonna get canceled, bro. I'm gonna walk back. I'm gonna be at Costco. What'd you say, bro?
We might not even clip this because there might not be enough context in like a 90-second clip. For this because, I think that's just I think that's just like a scapegoat of this like. You know, you guys, you know, you're just lazy, you know? It's like the old Japanese grandpa just saying, back in my day, you know, we would mow the lawn and go get fish and never had time for myself. And look at you guys, you're playing kendamas and ripping Pokemon cards. And, you know, I think choose what you want to prioritize. But guarantee if people are offended or they feel some sort of emotion when we're saying this, they should because it's probably true. That's what I say.
Next question, because I'm just hitting some topics because I'm just going through like what could go viral. That's what I'm doing right now, right? Yeah. So, hottest things to hit Hawaii in the last 20 years. So kendama right now is like right because like if there was a question like yo what was big in Hawaii for the last 20 like
the hottest things to hit Hawaii.
Yeah,
you want something viral? Kona low storm.
What?
I might get canceled for that.
What's it?
I said the storms that hit Hawaii.
That's the hottest things to hit.
You just said that. You said you wanted something viral.
Well, let's see if that goes viral.
Not get We're not clipping. We're definitely not clipping this. There's context to this. If you're watching the full episode, it was a joke. Okay. Nobody died, so I'm happy about that. Yes, maybe pets. I'm sorry for people that lost a lot of things.
Now I know you. No more words.
It was a joke. I'm just saying it's a joke.
Yeah.
Going off what you said.
No, but like meaning, okay. No, honestly, so like.
I understand. I was making a joke.
Kendamas is probably like hot
Pokemon
right now.
Pokemon
cards.
Let's see. What else is the local brothers and sisters into?
Yodas.
That's always been a thing. Because
there was a time,
always, but it's been a thing for
actually,
a while.
I'm really
it's
curious.
Not the hottest thing
to
hit.
I have a quick. You know, I know that Joe Coy said 2003, right?
Brand new Toyota.
Was that the
Tacoma.
beginning of Yodas?
No.
So when
since I was in high school, people loved Yodas, and that was 15 years ago.
Man, I really wonder if there's like a history. You know, it'd be funny if there was a book in the history of how Yodas became popular in Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if there's
it's from Tacoma. Like Toyota Tacoma is Tacoma, Washington.
What do you mean?
Like that's the truck. That's like what they're in Tacoma, Washington, Toyota Tacoma. Like I was in Washington, I saw the Tacoma billboard, whatever, and I'm guessing it's something to do with Washington. And I don't know, maybe we just like we brought it over.
Put your favorite theories. So here's a question: Why are Yodas a thing in Hawaii? Like Like, when did it start? Like, how?
I don't know. Maybe because like Toyotas just last longer. I mean, like I could drive a Ford and I love my truck, but you know, fix or repair daily. That's the acronym. We're found on road dead.
Yeah.
Like maybe Toyota and maybe the connection with Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just throwing out
Yo,
theories.
Kamaka's Yo, do you really think that? Like, because of the connection with
No,
Japan?
I don't. I'm just throwing these things out. I have no idea why Toyota Tacomas are big in Hawaii. Maybe because they had one guy who was like Goldilocks or whatever, like finding the best bed, and they was going, oh, this Ford Ranger, I don't look good with my gold chain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this I don't know what else the trucks out there.
Yeah.
Tundra, nah. Then the Tacoma was just like it just looked, it just hit, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody's not always just like the gold chain from the swap meet just shined a little bit better in the rearview mirror when they pointed it down at themselves. I don't know.
You know, honestly, that would be kind of a cool, like, little side quest episode for you, bro. Is if you did a documentary.
Everywhere. Yeah.
No, if you like literally tried to find the origin story of why the Tacomas, why the Yodas are so big in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then the second one I'd ask, honestly, you brought it up, like the gold chains. When did that start? Like, why? What is that?
I don't know. I was never a gold chain guy. I don't wear. This is the only thing I've ever worn on my body. It was a watch because Faye got it for me for my birthday a couple years ago. I don't know.
Would you wear a gold chain?
I bought this chain from Japan earlier in the year. It's like a Kingdom Hearts blade.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that, but I don't like. I just don't like wearing stuff around.
So if someone gifted you a $20,000 gold chain, would you wear it every day?
No.
$20,000.
I don't want to get robbed.
Okay, $5,000.
Maybe to an event. I don't think.
Would you really wear it to an event though?
I don't want things like. I'm very simplistic. I don't want things.
Dude, you're about to lose your Kama'aina card, bro. Come on, man.
I'm a hybrid local boy. I drive a hybrid truck and I don't wear gold chains. But
man.
I got nunchuck skills and a PSA 10 Charizard. That's my things that make me confident.
What's one of the most controversial things? Food. What's better? Zippies? Like what are some of like, you know, you're the one that I think you brought this up at a clubhouse thing. You said the number one local chicken with like, didn't you say something like that? It was like Kentucky Fried Chicken. You're like, that ain't no local chicken.
Oh, it was I remember this. I made a post about it.
Yeah,
This was
right?
in 2021 or 2022. Maybe it was COVID time. I don't know. But yeah, it was this like KFC was voted the best chicken in Hawaii or something like that.
Like
or
local, like.
was it like Vaughn? I don't know if it was Vaughn. Is Vaughn local? But basically, it was just like something was voted the best in Hawaii, but it's not even from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. That made me feel a certain way, but
Yeah.
I forget. I can't remember the full context.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like.
This is basically a real life meeting with me and Tanya.
So
Guys.
what I want to try to do is create a new segment for you called Cancel Kamaka.
Oh my god.
And come up with all the.
Well, we would have to get questions from the audience.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question for. Okay, honestly, so maybe the last one. What do you think is the most controversial topic that people fight about all the time here? Like, if there was a post about this, you'd get people like left and right
It's
fighting.
probably sovereignty or housing.
Sovereignty or housing.
Yeah.
Okay, what about
Housing.
sovereignty?
Or like development.
So what's your? Can I ask you? Because I'm your friend, right? Like, and I'm not trying to get you canceled. We've talked about this before the pod. I was like, hey, can I ask you a couple of things? And I don't know if people ask you these things. Is this okay?
Yeah, I mean they do. I try to be more neutral on the podcast, and I say things like offline.
Yeah. Today, don't be neutral. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
No, so like, okay, how about this? Instead of your take on sovereignty, what are the hot takes on sovereignty? Could you just like educate me right now? Because
So people want to become an independent nation again. People want the sovereign rights. They want all like the reparations. They want to be a part, as in separate from the military, all the things that come with it. You know, like because we're a hotspot for, you know, Pearl Harbor is like maybe we could be attacked one day. We could be bombed. You know, they're destroying our lands. You know, they bombed Ko'olave. They have bombings going on all over. The military is killing. They had the whole Red Hill thing, right? Polluting our water. So people don't like the military. People don't like that the land has been desecrated. The TMT, Mauna Kea, those are all like the controversial topics. If we were in control of all these things, we would not have those things because we respect the Aina. They want to be sovereign from not relying on top of Matson to bring all of our food. You know, if 90% of our food is imported, you know, whatever the number is. So people want that. People don't want to be part of America. They don't want to have that Western mindset. That's what people would debate on this clip. They would be like, "Oh, you so hollis, sell out. You think just like the colonizer mindset." You know, that's what we're gonna hear. And then there's the other side is like, "Oh, well, if it wasn't America, it would be somebody else. But we get all the protection from America. We have all the benefits of being American." You know, and then it's probably they go into like voting for Trump or voting for Biden. It'll go into all these different things. For me, I am somebody who doesn't yell or curse at the wind or try to change the wind. I just
And you should save this for the next episode. So stay tuned for the next podcast for Kamaka. No.
I just adjust the sails. So whatever it is, if housing is expensive in Hawaii, I'm gonna make more money. You know, if we cannot be independent away from America, I'm gonna take whatever the benefits of being American is and use it in my advantage. If we are a socialist state, I'm going to get EBT. I don't get EBT, I wish. Yeah. If we are a conservative, libertarian state, I'm going to follow. Like, to me, like, we put so much energy in the things we cannot control. And people won't like this because they're like, "Oh, well, if you tried harder, maybe you could change it." Honestly, I'm not passionate about it. I'm not passionate about sovereignty. Do I want my people to have what they want? Yes. What do I want for Hawaiians? Whatever us Hawaiians want. What is my dream for Hawaiians? Whatever Hawaiians dream. If the dream is to everybody Aloha Hawaii, then I'm with you guys. If the dream is to, you know, maybe work with the military and go golfing with the sergeants or generals, then I'm going to support. It's the same thing as like Mauna Kea. I don't care if TMT is good, science, blah, blah, blah. It'll make us $1 billion. If my people don't want it, then we don't want it. I'm going to support my people. So that's my stance on it. Like, yes, it would be cool if we were sovereign and we were independent. I don't know enough to be like, well, okay, then what now? Like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I've had people talk about it, and I know a little bit of the sides, right? But that's kind of my stance on it is like with everything else. It's like if I personally can't control it, then I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep living my life. I'm going to keep adjusting my sails, and I'm going to do it, put my blinders on. And if you need help, then I'll help you. If you want to come on the podcast and share your perspective on it, then I'll let you do that. But that's not going to change how I feel about it, you know, personally. It's like if you tell me, "Oh, Daniel, bro, this guy's pilau," I'll be like, "Okay, well, let me get the information. Let me see if he's pilau. Let me look into him." You know, I'm not just going to support you or believe that just because you told me, unless it's something like Mauna Kea and be like F TMT them, like, yes, my people, of course.
Formulate your own opinion, do your own investigation, have control of your own mind. You know, one of the things, and I don't know how much time we have, but like one of the things, probably like one of the biggest things revelations that hit me in my life, actually, like this quote, I love this one. And what you just said is like, replace cleverness with bewilderment. So when you're clever, you have all the answers. You have all the opinions. You're mad. You're upset. But when you're bewildered, you look at life in a different lens. Like, I'm curious, right? Yeah. I want to know what that is. Like, let me learn more. Let me stop. You know, honestly, like, I've talked about my faith a lot, but I think a lot of times people, even in the faith, is like, you're clever. Like, you have all the answers. Like, what if sometimes I tell people I'm in the religion of I don't know like everything. I know what I know. I know I have my relationship with God, right? I know what I've experienced. I don't know if my experience is your experience. You know, we're all solo leveling in our own lives, right? But it's like replace cleverness with bewilderment. Well, a bewildered person is asking a lot more questions than they're coming up with answers. And I think that's an amazing posture to have. And so, you know, I was just having fun because I was thinking like, man, I wonder if any of this would go viral or like, you know. Like,
yeah, we'll see if we clip it or if they want to cancel me. But
Yeah.
I could imagine the 10th. Like I tell people, you say you love the rain, they'll say you hate the sunshine.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I could be like, oh, you're too neutral. Oh yeah, why don't you choose the side? You're neutral. You choose the side of the oppressor. Like I'm just not somebody who's just gonna agree or just to agree or like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different on the podcast, off the podcast. Like
Yeah.
if you want to know a little bit more in depth, like talk to me offline. And I'm smart enough to try not to get canceled online. But yeah, I don't think that was bad that I answered it like that. But
No, I think, dude, like one thing I was hoping to do with this
just try
was
to keep it real.
just have open discussion, because I do think that discussion is what breeds innovation, right? So if there's an open space to have, like what I said, like how do I keep it low is like make space for life to happen. Well, make space for conversations to happen where people aren't trying to cancel each other, like staying in your echo chambers where all you're hearing is your own thoughts.
It's okay to disagree with you.
It's okay to disagree.
It's okay if Uncle doesn't want sovereignty. It's okay if Uncle does want sovereignty.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
So, I mean, I know I went there, but I do want to see one more question for you.
We are going over.
Yeah. One last question.
I know because the AC turned off.
Yeah. One question is, I know we went there, but the other thought I have is like, what's the most beautiful thing about Hawaii? Like you've traveled everywhere, and you know, again, I think the people and culture is the most beautiful thing. That's what every time I travel or I tell people like, what about Hawaii? And like, oh yeah, you know, it's the beaches. It's you know, whatever. The beautiful scenery, the driving is beautiful. Whatever it is, right? But I'm like, no, I think the people is the most beautiful thing about Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering for you, you know, you being like really like, you know, a beloved, you know, media personality of Hawaii, and you're collecting all these stories, doing this podcast, because I do think you're doing a service for Hawaii by collecting all these stories and archiving them all, right? And like it's now like online, and you know, people that are in Vegas or have moved to Minnesota, this might be their one way of connecting back to Hawaii, right? So I think I just want to give you props on that. But I'm just curious, like in the mind of Kamaka, what do you think is the most beautiful thing about this place, or beautiful thing about Aloha?
Yeah, I mean, I've lived abroad. I've, experienced other places. I've experienced other people. I've learned from a lot of those people, and I've learned from here. But of all the places in the world, like, I'll always come back to Hawaii. I can't see myself living anywhere else because Hawaii is my strength. And people, they say the nice nice buildings. They say the beaches and the mountains and the sunshine and the waves, and it is true. It is very 100% true. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, it's only the people. Like, it's like liking Hawaii for the natural beauty is vain. I don't think so. You go to a lot of other places, you see other waterfalls. It is not like the waterfalls like we have. The beaches aren't like the beaches we have. But above all of that, yes, it's the people. But beneath just the people is the relationships. And I think that's the number one thing I love about Hawaii is I can't have the same relationships I have anywhere else. I can't talk to a random guy, dap him up, call him bra, say how's it, and talk like we've known each other for 10 years and connect over like 2 questions. Where are you from? Hey, you know this guy? And now we're best friends. I can't do that anywhere else. I can't go to a store and joke around with the aunties at the register if she's local, like I would anybody else. And I think this isn't an ad for Hawaiian Airlines, but I think it's just the same thing as when I'm coming back home from a trip and I'm flying. I want to go on Hawaiian Airlines because I know there's flight attendants from here, and I'm going to be called brother. I'm going to be called, hey, brah. Hey, you need anything? I'm going to hear like, hey, sis, you like some water? I'm going to see the pua in the ear. And that's what makes Hawaii beautiful, is like these little nuances that you can't get anywhere else. You can be Hawaiian, you can be from Hawaii anywhere else, but like the connection and the relationships that you share with people over here, especially the local people, it's unlike anywhere in the world. And that's why people love it. That's why they come here. That's why they said, I was caught here. That's why I said, I can't leave this place. It's because we make Hawaii, not the things all around it. It's the people, you know? So yeah, the people, but the relationships. Yeah.
Well, come on, it's your podcast. As we close up, no, I'll say this. Hey, come on, if I can say this though, I appreciate you having me on, and more importantly, I appreciate you doing what you're doing, because I don't think anyone's done what you've done in Hawaii, like collecting all these stories, putting yourself out there.
I can say collecting cards. I got excited.
No, for real though. Like, you know, I think like you really taken the initiative to collect all these stories and share so many different success stories and different walks of life. I think you've really, you know, I think you've done something really amazing with the podcast. So, you know, I hope, you know, your podcast continues to grow, your movement continues to grow. I think your community is incredible. And I hope your vision of what you just shared right now continues to transcend culture. Like everything's getting faster. AI is going crazy. I didn't even talk about AI, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's like, you know, everything's just moving so fast. And I feel like, you know, you've done an amazing job, like preserving, like at least digitally online with the podcast and everything you're working on, of like cultivating an Aloha spirit, right? Like keeping it Aloha and encouraging people to keep it Aloha. So as much as people fight and argue, and there is that, but you know, you being a source where you're creating this energy in a space where people can like talk and grow, I think has been incredible. So I appreciate you doing what you're doing too.
Well, I'm blessed to be where I'm at, and I couldn't have done it without people like you and my family, my kumu, all the people that have helped me get here in life. So yeah, we have to wrap up because we're going long, but I didn't get to ask you what your life hack is yet, so we're gonna combo it up. We're ripping some Pokemon packs because we do that at the end of the episode. So while we're doing this, if you can share a life hack.
Life hack. Well, I talked about it a little bit right now, but check this out. So
Brand new set, pitch black.
this is the biggest hack I've been. Dang, we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Holy moly, dude, that's
It's
crazy.
longer than 2 hours. It's been
I
longer.
know 2 hours.
Almost 3.
Wow. Okay.
Here, we'll
So
rip till we hit.
I stopped this right here, and like what my hack is, on my recordings, I can go here and I click. Where is this? Give me the 3 buttons. Copy transcript. So I actually recorded this whole podcast episode, and what I do is I go to ChatGPT, and I say, take this conversation or this meeting and synthesize it and give me the highlights, bullet points, and the main takeaways. So I do that. It's transcribing, right? And then what I do is I paste it. You know, paste the whole thing is long, and then I press submit. I make sure that it's on high, because look at this right here. Overall theme, centered on mindset, entrepreneurship, Hawaii's growth, faith, relationships. Biggest takeaway, stop limiting yourself. Success comes from showing up. Failure is required. Dude, if you're not using technology, you're falling behind. That's all I gotta say. And don't even make no excuses if you didn't do it. Like, you got the information on this episode, and let's rip some packs, bro.
Let's go. I don't gotta teach you. You already know how.
Yeah. But that is my life hack right now.
That's a great life hack. I mean, you're really big into AI, and we didn't get to cover that as much in this episode, but maybe we'll have you back in the future. Purple.
Fire.
Oh. That means I got a hit. Here, I'll go first. All right, and then you can close out the show. Hopefully you get a hit. We rip till we hit, and we give away the hits. Ooh, I got cooked. Right. So while Daniel's doing this, I've been saying the hits from the guest. I've had them sign it, and I said we're gonna give it into the giveaways. But I had a new idea of actually, hey, we got an EX.
I got an EX.
Yeah, I had an idea of actually collecting all the hits from all the guests and giving it away at the end of the year. So somebody's just gonna get like a pile of hits from the episode. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So stay tuned for that. But we'll rip more of these packs offline. We got a hit, so we can end it. Mahalo, Daniel, for coming and talking stories and all the things that you do for me and all the other people that you're mentoring. But anything else you want to share? If not, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Deep Fried Pro, and then the collectibles is at High Collectibles.
Yeah.
And us is
KeepItAlohaEvents.com.
KeepItAlohaEvents.com, and it's just excited to build with you, bro. Let's keep going.
We're gonna look back on this episode, maybe you guys will too, and be like, dang. From this episode and what they're doing now in a year, it's crazy.
Timestamp.
Yeah. All right. Well, mahalo, Daniel, for coming on the Keep It Aloha podcast. Spread love. Be kind to one another. And mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka. Remember to always keep it aloha.